Heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say. It's been so long. Yeah. It's been so long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say. Heard you say my name. Calling. I feel like I'm falling from the highest highs. Your name I'm calling. I feel like I'm falling from the highest highs. Your name I'm calling. So long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say. Since I heard you say. Yeah. It's been so long. Sitting next to me, but you seem so far away. There's nothing left of me. I don't think that I can live this way. This way. It's been so long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say. Since I heard you say. Yeah. It's been so long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say. Since I heard you say. Yeah. Whatever you want to say, say it. Whatever the game, I'm done playing. I told you I love you and that ain't changing. Whatever you want to say, say it. Whatever the game, I'm done playing. I told you I love you and that ain't changing. Challenge your eyes, but we ain't changing. Whatever you want to say, say it. Whatever the game, I'm done playing. I told you I love you and that ain't changing. Challenge your eyes, but we ain't changing. So long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say. Since I heard you say. Yeah. It's been so long since I felt anything. Since I heard you say my name. It's been so long since I heard you say.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Monday and welcome to Series E Halo Infinite. My name is Ye, so excited to welcome you in for the show. Now, this week is an off week for Series E Halo Infinite, but we still will have some Halo action here for you in just a little bit, so make sure to stick around for that. And of course, Series E Apex Legends and Guilty Gear Strive also going on Tuesday through Thursday, so don't miss out on that. Of course, all of the action, all of those days will kick off at 4 p.m. Pacific time, right here at twitch.tv/esports arena. So make sure you're followed and subscribed, and keep an eye out and make sure you don't miss out on the fun. Now, we will be checking out last week's Wednesday night Pro Night exhibition action here in a bit, so make sure to stick around for that. But before that, I want to talk a little bit about PvE, which is a new thing we are doing at Esports Arena all across the country. So you can go to your local Esports Arena inside a Walmart store near you and compete. Now, what PvE is all about is, taking the big commitment out of competing in esports events. Maybe you don't have 3 or 4 hours to dedicate to an entire bracket, but PvE solves that for you. You can come in, put up your best scores, and head out for the day. Now, the way it works is we have 4 different leaderboards across multiple different titles every single week, and they run from Wednesday through Sunday. Each has its own individual $500 prize pot that you can get in on. Now, this week, you're going to have Tokyo Blur for Mario Kart, Home Run Derby in Smash Ultimate, Control in Apex Legends, and you can take the Plasma Carbine, out in the Halo Infinite training mode. And we actually have our friend Catalyst in Studio White right now, giving it a test run. So let's check out Catalyst Kim in Studio White right now. So the way it works, you come out, get some tokens, and you use your tokens for entry in the different leaderboards, and then you put up your best score. We'll see if Catalyst Kim can get a good one here with the Pulse Carbine, but you can get in as many tries as you want. So just come in, get those tokens, and you can keep putting up scores all throughout the week. We also have a 24/7 live stream going on our YouTube channel that always have those leaderboards running, so you can always take a peek at where the scores stand at different points in the week. So head out to your local Esports Arena store in a Walmart near you. You can use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat right now to find one near you. But as we take a look here, Catalyst Kim trying to rack up the points. 5 seconds left in this run. We'll hit the 20K mark. Nice. Good score here. I just wonder, maybe you folks at home can beat his score. He's popping off. He's feeling good. He was, he was talking a bunch of junk in production before we came on for the show. He's saying, nobody's going to beat my score. I'm absolutely going to crush everybody in the office. So something tells me there might be a little bit of a competition here once we go up with the rebroadcast momentarily. But again, if you want to come out and compete, and maybe you don't have 3 or 4 hours to dedicate, PvE is the solution. Come out, get a chunk of those $500 prize pots for each different leaderboard, get some tokens, and get in on the action. Put up your best scores this week at Esports Arena. Again, the competition kicks off on Wednesday and runs all the way through Sunday, so we'd love to see you there very soon. That's going to do it here for the start, but let's check out some Halo action from last Wednesday night. Take it away.
Deny the OS as well. He'll take a clean kill. Doesn't quite get the OS picked up, though, and once again, we've got quite a brawl out center. JK, the speed out of him, too, to get the OS as well, and finally, he's the one who pops it.
To somehow get in the right position to impact that overshield, to get that kill, and then to pop that one himself, award himself with another kill. JK may have just found a play that could award ESA Blue with some solid map control and the potential to take this lead and run with it.
JK just looking for a target in the meantime, though. He's lost his high ground. Might be able to turn this into a bit of a flank, though, with his teammates out center. And it's a perfectly timed one at that. If he stays up, this would be massive. His teammate not quite there in time to help, unfortunately. Rain's going to join the fight here, too. We got a little 1v1 for a trade. And a good trade to keep their lead. Slight lead here. We'll see how long it lasts, though. Ryan still staying up.
Still up 1 kill. ESA Blue's doing a great job to trade efficiently, take some map control, but now that rockets are up, Ryan has such a good position to try and help his team secure these ones. Bulldog in this corner can be such a nuisance as well. Nobody quite in a position to go for those rockets, so a little bit of a chess match here from both teams, trying to bait them out, trying to fight for maybe some potential power angles that can deny these rockets and help secure these rockets for their team. And it looks like Rhino in that best position right now. You can see, he can see both sides of rockets, and the cover fire that he's able to lay down should shortly award United this set of rockets.
Ryan still up in center as well. He's going to have to take a fight in the meantime there, too. You can see Nick now coming into the fray as well. Little double team, crossfire coming in out of E United to just hold on to this map here. I think they might have bounced away with that rocket launcher all while it happened, so we'll see it in the feed in just a second. I'm sure OS about to pop here, too. Nick going to die to furiously. Ryan Noob with a skillful use of the grapple. He's now taking the OS and might be able to take a few kills with this, too. He still has the shoddy from his life as well, so he's just been living this whole time.
Yeah, so far we've seen just wars going down to secure these overshields. Ryan doing a much better job this time around, just using the grapple to do it. Says, I've seen grenades, explosions, everything go down in the battle for overshields, so a good job by him to safely secure that one. Awards himself a kill. Good map control now for E United, and this is where the game could get ugly for ESA Blue if they're not able to get out of this one like they were earlier.
Looks like center map control still favor E United. ESA doing what they can to trade out. They got to get rid of Ryan Noob. I think it's the biggest thing, though. Ryan Noob,
so well.
He's on a spree. He's just not dying, right? Still holding on to the shoddy. Still getting kills with it, too. Make it 3 dead out center map and an easy opportunity to control center for E United. And now, once again, you've got ESA with their backs against the wall. How do they break out of this one?
Yeah, Ryan Noob patiently gets some information, backs up, knows his role right now is to just stay alive, top rocks. This Bulldog shotgun's going to deny anybody trying to push low. He knows nobody can really push across the middle of the map. It allows Nick to pick up a double from the corner, and I mean, watch, rinse, repeat. E United looks so strong when they have map control.
Oh, no.
This is the best of E United right now. 14, 4 and 5 from Ryan Noob, Nick with 11 of his own, and I mean, it's just so difficult to try and deal with the amount of pressure that they can put on you.
Yeah, such a disgusting life, and I mean, the result of it so apparent on the board here, 40-31. ESA finally starting to break out of their base here, but they can't afford mistakes at this point. You got 2 more dead in the feed now as well. Just bleeding resources. 1 down bottom mid, but he's just outnumbered at this point. Nick gonna go for the full aggro challenge out front, and he knew he had the space to do it, but thankfully for ESA, they get at least a trade. It's just not enough at this point, though. You can see how quickly they're losing their lives. 45, they get 46 as they're getting caught out, and the new weapons now spawning too.
46-32, 4 kills needed, overshield and rockets in the hands of E United as they just both came up. Nick finds himself a double, and this game is going to be shortly lived. 2 kills do go in favor of ESA Blue to trade them back, but it's going to be too little too late, and that's going to do it. The rockets not even having to be used is a 50-34 win for E United, and you can tell ESA Blue, they're able to compete up until the point that E United have full control, and once E United have full control, they know what to do with it in order to push their advantages and extend their lead.
They're so difficult to kill, Wes, though. I mean, Ryan Noob in that game, 17-5 in that game. That was a clinic out of Ryan Noob. His entire life, from the moment we were on with him back in Treehouse to his crossfire, that patient play that he had to help give his team an opportunity to control the map to get the rockets, and then stayed alive all throughout it with that shotgun, managed to get the dynamos, managed to get the OS in that situation, and then control rocket side, and then get more kills, right? That whole life just so destructive on the map, and so unselfish in his gameplay too. He understands his role so well, and just kind of knows how to poke and prod at the enemy without overcommitting himself in any situation. It's something that United seem to be playing around exceptionally.
Yeah, there's a reason he's one of the most prolific Halo players of all time, I think. Ryan Noob has done it for so long, and it's no surprise that here in Halo Infinite, he's starting to find his footing. He's starting to be that nuisance. He's starting to feel comfortable, and his individual skill is starting to pair up with it. And like I said, having had to compete against Ryan Noob several times in my career, man, is it annoying when he's on fire, because he can just do so much as an individual, it feels. He impacts the game in such a heavy manner as far as the efficient play that he goes around. And not only that, but he really is the IGL for this team as well. And he leads them as far as their scrims are concerned and their practice goes, as far as getting everyone on the same page. So when everybody's on the same page, it's so difficult to beat. And this E United roster looks just about as structured as any in Halo right now.
Right, their chemistry at this point as a team, you can see how damn polished they are, and you can see the immense skill gap in team just chemistry or just team coordination that we have between ESA Blue and E United. I mean, a shutout in both Game 1 and Game 2. Now on to Game 3 here, strongholds on streets in the final opportunity for ESA Blue, but so far we have not seen any proof that this will be their moment to bounce back. They will have to dig deep here.
It's not going to get any easier here in Game 3. I promise you that. Strongholds is a very difficult game type, especially when a team as coordinated as E United is playing against you. But early kills do benefit ESA Blue. A nice rocket's taking down Ryan, and that's a great job to figure out a way to kill Ryan before he can wreak havoc. And because of it, some early points are going to be awarded to ESA Blue.
A little bit of control out of ESA Blue. How do they use it? And how does Gold Star take advantage of all the artillery the man's got to work with as well? Kind of a dangerous route to take to advance here, but of course the best weapons to do it. Big opening pick he can take here. Opportunity to grab a BR2, but wants to use the shotgun and can't quite put it to work. He actually does somehow trade that. Might give his teammates a breather to control a bit of the map here. You can see they're now in A. Opportunity to defend B at the same time here.
All right, they pick up another kill, taking down Rain, and unsuspectingly, an ESA Blue. A little bit of unorthodox play so far. Power weapon control benefited them early on. Can't quite get A for now, but it does look like there's a second player to grab that one. Continue scoring in their favor.
Sparty, nice little 1v1 win for him. Ends up in a red bar as a result, but he is alive. Can control A now because of it. Still getting pressured, though, and you love to see the pressure on ESA Blue as they try to make things very difficult for E United, difficult for them to regain their footing. A big one. Beautiful little cross, though. I think that's Ryan, right? Crossing with the Stalker, making sure that those trades come in.
Yeah, unfortunately, although they were able to defend A, they lose B simultaneously, and because of it, B and C now controlled by E United and map control in their hands. Rockets are up, and these are very important battles, and unfortunately 3 dead as I say that for ESA Blue. E United, they've got the kills to get right back in this one. Unfortunately, a good kill by JK. He's the last guy alive, takes down the rocket player, and that's a big one as well, but it's almost not enough as the rest of E United look to swarm the last stronghold held, and you can bet that they're going to pressure C as well, so they're going to flip the map here shortly.
And all while they do it, though, Ryan still hasn't left that C balcony, though. He's just sitting there with Stalker pelting them as they spawn up Cafe and try to fight for A. So there's always that team cross coming in. And, you know, unless they get rid of him on that pedestal, you can see they're finally rotating out to C now to try to take control that way. Big kill there on Rain to at least get access to B in the situation. But Nick covering it with a couple bank nades here. Going to play his life carefully as well, but Diagram will melt them quickly. JK in position out front, too, so they should be able to take back B here at the very least.
Yeah, they are going to be able to pressure B, but unfortunately, the rest of E United, they got the information from Nick. Nick did a solid amount of damage, and that's allowed the rest of them to try and push this B stronghold. ESA Blue do transfer it over, but E United looking to pressure it right back, and you can already see 3 members make it 4 on Diagram screen, and this is going to be a heavy push from E United onto B. And if kills go successfully in their manner, they may just turn this into a trip cap if they want to try and push downhill to C.
Yeah, United looking to overwhelm them, that's for sure. They'll get B for free because of it. They don't even bother to rotate to C. They're doubling back to get the defense onto A. You got Rain with a kill here as well. Ryan Noob just holding things down from the ledge up on A. Nick going to fill in the gaps perfectly from that B window, right? So the communication, the coordination out of this whole team here, just limiting the options at ESA Blue. You can see them double taken on whether or not they want to go up the driveway or out through center here. Every single option they choose, so risky.
Yeah, you can tell that their options are just so limited. Unfortunately for Nick, he's not able to clean up that kill quick enough, and it's a one-on-one right now. Unfortunately, that one-on-one is met by a Bulldog rocket player, and that's Ryan Noob with power weapons in hand. We've seen how primary focus on the power weapons Ryan Noob has been throughout this series. No surprise. He once again has found himself the Bulldog, found himself the rockets here on streets, puts them to use, and awards his team that B control continued. And with it, the lead already up over 60.
We finally do see the rotation into C here as well. For a long time there, they just held on to A, B, and just covered that section of the map, let them kind of pour out of C and delete them as they do so. Ryan Noob now flipping the map. You can see how E United will adapt to meet this. We'll see what he gets to do with the shotgun in this position as well. Could just wait and bait for a play here. 150 and counting, so up to ESA Blue to close the distance, and that's exactly what Ryan wants in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great cross there, too. You saw the Sentinel beam being used by his teammate, and unfortunately, Ryan now surrounded, actually has the awareness to turn around, finish off that kill before he's taken down. Another kill gets picked off by Nick, and that makes this push on to be so weak for ESA Blue. It's going to be difficult if they transfer it over to hold it now.
ESA Blue doing everything they can to find their footing here. It's just looking grim the longer the game goes on, though. They rotate back to B. Sparty going to take control of it. Nick going to look for a couple picks with the Stalker. Will rip the shields off. 1 assist, 1 comes in. Assist 2 comes in as well, right? So that team fire and the timing of their push, so coordinated here. They'll likely get to A because of this, and they're still pressuring that C stronghold while they do it. You see Nick picking up off of his teammate, coming right back into the fight here, getting confident too.
Nick is one of those players that's really impressed me with that Stalker rifle play throughout Infinite. He can land some of those shots so quickly and just do so much DPS with that weapon when used efficiently and effectively. Unfortunately, he's taken down, and now ESA Blue, they're in control. Down almost 100 points, though. They're going to have to figure out a way to hold control. And that's a few big kills as Rockets come up in their favor. They may be able to turn this momentum now with 4 dead into a trip cap.
Right, little breather out of ESA Blue. They should know where to expect spawns here. Already predating PD, though, and that actually just flipped things over to C. They do get access to A, though. Oh, well, it happens. So JK going to get aggressive here. And it looks like that did pay off. Can he stay up, though? You can see E United very quick to counter. Couple trades out of ESA. As long as they can hold the advantage in slays here, they can hold some form of map control. And so far, it seems, or it was going well, till Sparty found a flank.
I was going to say, I like the aggressiveness by them. They're trying to play Halo the right way, which is that constant pressure that we see some of the top teams display. Unfortunately, they do lose a few members, and because of it, they do lose control, but they've cut into the deficit now. Still down 70 points. You need to figure out a way to once again regain control, and unfortunately, Spartan the dog looks like he has other things in mind as he picks up that Stalker, has Bulldog still in hand. Jeez. Picks up some Brew Grenades as well, and those are some easy kills he's about to land here.
Oh, using everything in the sandbox in one life here. Shoddy and Stalker, back pocket, tosses all the nades out to B. 194 and counting here as well. And just waiting to make a play. Can use the slide to quickly rotate back and forth here also. And doesn't even need to stay for the kill, right? The faith that they have in their teammates, they just put enough damage in to make it easy for their teammate to clean it up, and they come right back into the section of the map they know they need to impact. And you can just feel the pressure on the side of ESA. Where do they go? Nothing safe.
Yeah, all spawning back tower. They're going to have at least maybe one push here as they try to get onto B. The Spartan the dog still just being a menace with the Stalker rifle, able to take down one, get another to no shield. And you can bet that Ryan wants this kill as well. Unfortunately, can't quite hit the headshot. And ESA Blue doing a good job to break into B, but unfortunately, just too many members of E United there for reinforcements to shut that push down. And now ESA Blue look to be on the ropes with 13 points is all E United need.
The damage output at a Ryan Noob in that situation, though, right? Cleans up one kill. How he snaps to his right instantly without hesitation. I mean, Sparty coming in, picking up a big double just to really just put the nail in the coffin on this game in this series. West 48 and counting. You'll slide into another to close that out in confident fashion. I can't say I didn't expect it. E United, they are just so well coordinated with a 250. What was that, 112 close, I believe, at the end of that. West, just dominance at E United.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I hate seeing a team go in a 3-0 fashion like that, but ESA Blue, we know who these guys are. They got a long way to go to try and call themselves the caliber players that E United are, and that's just a masterclass that E United was able to put on throughout the first 3 games of the series, right? Like, they play textbook great Halo Infinite, and that's why they're one of the best. They finished 2nd and 3rd at the LAN so far, and I wouldn't be surprised that they're there the entire year with the amount of dedication and the work that they put in. And this is why you can't praise these guys enough for the amount of work and the quality of work that they practice with continuously. I mean, these guys put in 2 a day, so a best of 5 is something normal to them.
It's wild. I think it's safe to say, just how wide the team skill gap is in this game, though, because I feel like if you take each of these 8 players and put them in 1v1s, I think you'd be pretty damn close in a lot of these fights, right down to individual skill, to shot, like to accuracy. They can all shoot. They can all play exceptionally well, but the coordination, the chemistry, right? You got a team like E United that have been together since the beginning of Infinite, haven't changed their teammates, and continue to improve, continue to VOD review, continue to go back and hammer it out with the coach and build up their chemistry to the point where it just seems like they're unstoppable. They've got everything completely figured out, right? They've kind of cracked the code in every map, every situation, to the point where it makes a team like ESA Blue look like they're kind of flailing in these situations. What I hope, and this is the beauty of having these events, is ESA Blue, they have an opportunity to learn from something like this. To playing Halo at this caliber, you can hopefully digest some of the strategies from this team and start to apply it yourself and come back with a force next time. Either way, it's a single elim, so that was a quick one. Done and dusted for our series first series of the day. United will move on confidently. ESA Blue, we'll see them again soon. In the meantime, Yeso, let's send it back to you.
Quite an impressive set there from E United, taking out Esports Arena Blue 3-0 fashion. Of course, not a lot of people likely surprised by that result. United pretty firmly a top 3 team in Halo Infinite right now, and Esports Arena Blue trying to kind of carve out a space in the competitive scene right now with this roster. Do want to give a shout out to the team, of course, some adjustments in terms of roster that they are making, and when you think about Diagram coming in and starting off that first game pretty strong, we got a really good look at Diagram at the start of the first map and did some really, really good work there. Ultimately, not enough there to bear fruit for the team, and they struggle as the series continues. Really good control from E United and Slayer. Very good showing in terms of strongholds, and really the momentum doesn't carry from a strong start, but Diagram looked good. They had some good plays throughout the series, but just too much power coming from this E United roster. And we got a couple of really cool clips in there. I mean, you're looking at Ryan Oob with the shock rifle turning on, getting the no-scopes on a couple of players there. Sparty having some really good games as well. Spartan looking just really in form right now, and it makes me excited for Kansas City coming in just a month, because these teams that we're talking about, United, FaZe, Pioneers, and more, getting back together in a LAN setting, competing at the peak of Halo Esports is going to be so much fun, and I love getting these little previews. And we'll get to see E United against either FaZe or Pioneers here very soon, depending on the result of our next series, and that is going to be a very fun grand final. But of course, we do have to turn our focus now to this next series, right? FaZe, Pioneers. Pioneers we've talked a lot about. Again, I mentioned at the top of the show, they crushed last week. They won Open Night. They won Pro Night. They finished second overall in the HCS Open Series. The team that won, interestingly enough, FaZe. So, Pioneers here with an opportunity at revenge to get a little something back here from FaZe here tonight. It's going to be a tough series, a best of 5. It's going to be really fun. If I'm leaning one way or the other, I would say it's still towards FaZe. FaZe is a team that I have had very high hopes for since the start of Halo Infinite. If you remember going all the way back to a very early series recap before the season, I talked about, one of my predictions is I think FaZe will win a major this year. Is that Kansas City? Remains to be seen, but I think the early returns from this roster, of course, Snipedown coming from Apex Legends, returning to his roots in Halo Infinite, has certainly looked really good so far, and I'm looking forward to this roster continuing to level up over the next month and try and unseat a Cloud9 team that has, of course, been the kings of Halo Infinite so far. And then when you look at Pioneers, this is still that roster that I think a lot of people look at as, filled with incredible young talent, very high ceiling for this team. People are just kind of waiting for them to have that signature performance at a big event. And Kansas City is going to be that opportunity. Of course, they're looking really good. They are looking in form right now, but they need to build off of what they have at this moment and get ready to go when it comes to Kansas City. So if I would say I'm leaning one way, it is FaZe, but I think it's going to be a tight series. I'm thinking 3-2. I think these teams go the distance and that Pioneers can take a few games, and then ultimately you get into a Game 5 situation and anything can happen. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. I think we are set up for 2 back-to-back awesome series. FaZe versus Pioneers, and then that winner against E United. It's going to be a good finish. Right now, we're going to go to a quick break. Before we do that, do want to remind you folks, if you're looking to pick up products from any of our partners here at Series E, you can do that over at walmart.com/esports arena. So if you need, a little bit of hydration from our friends at Splash, you can pick it up over there. Maybe a new peripheral for your setup. Razer has you covered too. All of that is over at walmart.com/esports arena. And it, of course, supports us here, and we certainly appreciate that. We'll go to a break right now. When we come back, FaZe and Pioneers will face off in their first series of the night. Don't go far.
Is coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the go. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Eccentric.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast. Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's going down, 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 it's going right now. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise. It's going down, we got the right moves, we got the right moves, we got the right moves. It's going down. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise. It's going down, we got the right moves, we got the right moves, we got the right moves. It's going down.
It's fruit freshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0-calorie treat. Now all our top flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen.
Hello, welcome back once again to Series E Halo Exhibition Night. Series 1 already concluded. E United finished with a strong opening 3-0, taking ESA Blue out of the tournament. They're now waiting for the winners of our next series. It's going to be FaZe and Pioneers. In a series, I think will go the distance. Wes, what do you think?
Yeah, it really depends which Pioneers we see and which FaZe we see, because I think both these two teams, can win a top North American world championship. In all honesty, I think both these two teams are as strong as they come. It's just a matter of what level are they playing at today. Are we going to see the best of Pioneers like I saw yesterday against Cloud9? If so, they could win this clean sweep. And if we see the best from FaZe, I think I'm right there with you. So as far as thinking that FaZe have what it takes to win one of these majors this year in the HCS scene, and I love this roster and how it's put together. I just need to see more of them. They've had some success recently in scrims, and they haven't had too bad of results even on LAN. I know that they've had some close series that didn't go their favor, but
yeah,
I still think that this FaZe team has just so much individual skill, so much opportunity and potential. It's just a matter of will we see that in a tournament play.
Yeah, definitely an exciting matchup no matter what way you look at it. First off, I'm just curious to see how Pioneers matches up based off of their recent success we've seen in ESA. They have yet to face a competitor of this caliber in ESA,
right.
but since FaZe was not in the picture recently, they've been winning on a regular basis. They've been starting to dominate in the last few weeks, and they've really kind of come into form, and they're looking better than ever. Wes, you said you got the chance to watch them scrim against C9. Do you know how that went exactly?
I don't know the numbers, but I remember a majority of the games that I paid attention to that they were on top of, and they were getting the better of Cloud9. And like we say, Cloud9 sets the bar when it comes to professional Halo so far and Halo Infinite. And to be able to even split the series with them is a step in the right direction, is the journey you want to be on if you're the Pioneers. This would be a nice win for them as well. We'll see what FaZe has to say about it, though, because FaZe, you know that they're looking to rebound from their last lane performance, having that top 8 finish. And you know that they want to put in some quality practice along the way. So this is a big notch for them as well. So I love the opportunity to see these two go at it. And already Falcated finding himself a double, the overshield, and creating such an opportunity for FaZe early on here.
Great incentives on top of the $500. Just good incentive on both sides to come out on top in this series. And I can't wait to see it. And Wes, you said it, Val coming out strong to start this and confident as well. He will lose the OS. You can see he's got that grapple in the back pocket still, but staying alive in this situation. Beautiful nade on the Soul Snipe here, too. So he's still going. And does he actually picked up the thrust as he slid in, too? I kind of like this. Being a nuisance in back base already.
Look at this. We have a substitution on the sides of Pioneers. A little celebrity decided to join in on him. It's so Frosty going to be the fourth for the Pioneers, and I love that pickup by them for this little money match here on a Wednesday. We'll see how Frosty can fit in, and already he has 3 kills to his name. What can he do? You know who Frosty is if you're a fan of Halo, one of the best Halo 5 players to ever do it, and making a staple name, household name for himself so far in Infinite as well. So love the fact that, hey, if you're gonna have to pick up a random fourth, Frosty's probably the guy I go to as well.
Right, and that's the thing, is his adaptability to kind of jump into any team, any situation, and find his role very quickly, find the answer really quickly, especially when you watch him play in some of those pickup tournaments with a whole variety of streamers. You can, always count on Frosty to find a way to kind of lead, direct the action, and play his role exceptionally well, though he does drop bottom mid in that situation. Pioneers going to do what they can to keep some pressure up. We did have early dominance at a phase, but nothing quite led to a flag just yet. Soul Snipe still going in. In the meantime, though, Pioneers looking to answer back, but just too many of them in the base here.
Good damage there with the Bulldog shotgun. Can it be capitalized on is the big question. And kills do come through, but unfortunately a nade is going to knock Manny down to no shield. He's forced to stop, and that's going to halt the push. That's going to allow FaZe to come off spawn, but we'll see if they're able to. Frosty picks up a big double that could reopen the push for the Pioneers, and already flag in the hands of Manny. It's on the move. 3 dead for FaZe, and they're going to have to figure out a way to come off spawn if they want to keep this game tied. Despite
the confidence out of FaZe to start this, the first big opening out of Pioneers here in Soul Snipe. What a beautiful position to be in. He takes one. He's going to chase down a second. You can see Falcated already dead on the feet as well, so Soul Snipe, just survival here is the ultimate delay to ensure that that flag goes through, though. As I say it, he got bound on top of it. Up to him to get the return in this situation. A last-second melee out of Druk, though, will save that flag and keep it in play.
Keeps it in play. It's stuck in the doors, and this is a terrible place for that flag to get stuck because it's so easy to find yourself grenading that location, and for the Pioneers to try and come off spawn and try and keep this one on the move, it's going to be difficult. They do get it through the doors, but what will Snipedown have to say about it? He finds 2 kills, and that's going to be multiple members of FaZe hopping on the return. So even though that touch came through, you saw how difficult it is to continue that flag run through the double doors, especially when FaZe was hot off respawn to try and get in a location to deny that from happening.
But also testament to FaZe for still denying it, though, because not too often do you see that type of defense when the flag does get as far as it does, though. We'll have to see FaZe back on respawn to defend once again in just a second, because Frosty doing work here with the Rockets. He's got the shotty now, too. Frosty with 10 kills to his name already to start the game. Top Slayer next to Snipedown. And you can see the results of those slays as well. They're already in the base.
So much respect between these two, Snipedown and Frosty, leading their team with kills. Frosty's going to find another one on the bound, and that's going to open up the base of FaZe once again for the Pioneers. 3 were dead for FaZe. Respawners bottom shotgun, and we'll see if they have the same magic they had last time to stop this one, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult because that flag is already across halfway.
Second opportunity for Pioneers, and you wonder if this is the one that breaks through. Last second defense out of FaZe. The grapple not quite working out for Frosty. Does he make it in time because of it? He's got to get a clutch kill and do it quickly. And though he gets the kill, it's not quite enough. So FaZe with a second clutch return in a row. Is it just a matter of time till Pioneers break through with one, or can FaZe finally answer themselves?
It's a textbook mistake made by the Pioneers. Don't come back with the flag and you get punished. It's a 2v2 on both sides of the map. Unfortunately, the Pioneers, they won their 2v2 at the base of FaZe, but the Pioneers also lost the 2v2 with the flag carrier at their own. So the game ties up. FaZe have done such a good job to keep this game tied up, but it's almost a matter of how long can they be able to play this kind of defense, because they've been on the ropes the entire game just about, and Frosty is still in your bar doing work with the shotgun.
It really does just seem like a matter of time until FaZe can start, trading blows, getting slays of their own. Frosty just putting them down, already 15 to his name. Shotty still in hand. Looking to clean up another here. Going to help Druck as well to ensure he gets to the base. Can he stay up, though? Defensive kill out of FaZe. Had a snipe down specifically to just keep them off the flag. But it's like they're spawning in their base here at this point, Wes. They continue to pressure him.
Yeah, Pioneers just playing so fast, and something that we gave him so much credit for at the end of Halo 5. Frosty also a very fast style Halo player, so he fits right in with 16 kills to his name. And another flag on the move, but this time around they're going to slow this one down, try and find the slays before they continue to run this one, and they're going to need those slays to come through. Unfortunately, once again, FaZe off respawn, disadvantageous positions, find the kills they need to stop this flag run once again. Oh my God.
But they can't find Frosty. Frosty looking for a third in this situation. Druck will take it. Somehow FaZe still get the return despite it. But man, testament to Frosty's individual skill. The 19 slays, rockets in his hand. Once again, they're going to hammer him on the doorways here. And you just wonder, when will one of those flags go through? A triple out of Frosty. He's just statting at this point.
Having a blast, putting some stats on the board, but the most important stat still yet to be done for Pioneers. FaZe coming off respawn once again. We'll see if they still have that magic in them. But unfortunately, Boobadooboo, he's on respawn. 2 to go down for FaZe once again. And this flag, you have to think, is going to go in the hands of Pioneers, because they're not going to make the same mistake 3 times.
Right, Pioneers doing their due diligence this time, right? They got the whole team back with that flag to make sure nobody slips through the cracks here. Nobody is a last-second defender. They'll plant that one in. That's a 1-0. Still 5 minutes on the clock, but what we don't see are slays return from FaZe here. West, you can see both Boo Boo, Falcated getting a little shut down to start. FaZe doing what they can just to slow the bleeding, but they are bleeding. That's the issue here.
Absolutely. They have to stop the pressure, and the pressure just is continuous throughout so far in game 1. Pioneers finally with a couple of members dead. FaZe with control of their base for the meantime, but for how long will this last? Because they're trying to push out, and unfortunately, just when you think the coast is clear, you get assassinated on your balcony, you get put under respawn. And Pioneers still in control of the map for the majority of this game. I mean, FaZe have got to figure it out. And I mean, if you look at the clock, Shyway, 4 minutes and 20 seconds, you blink, and this game is almost over.
Could go by very quickly, that's for sure. The most pressure, though, we've seen out of FaZe in some time here as they send 3 up through the doors. Got Falcated working the bar with Snipe down. Bound still staying alive in this situation. As long as he does, he could be a nuisance. And you got to love Fal coming back to try to help, though. Unfortunately, a couple kills out of Pioneers. Going to leave Snipe down alone at the doorway. So another push chalked here for FaZe. And the timing, not ideal as well. Druck going to get away with everything on the map here.
A grapple, overshield, dynamo grenades, putting them all to work. Going to activate this overshield, and this is going to be another push from Pioneers. The combo doesn't even come through. It recharges, doesn't hit again, and because of that, this push coming through, the overshield goes down, but so just bound in the meantime. And look at how Pioneers are just so coordinated with these pushes. Yes, they're aggressive. Yes, it appears chaotic, but they're doing it together to the point where they have that teamwork at this fast pace. It's not easy to replicate this kind of gameplay, but the Pioneers showing you so much aggression.
You can just see how quickly Druck is trying to act off of his teammates' damage, right? The callouts that are coming in, just how quickly he'll change lanes and kind of leave a target, trust that a teammate has it, focus on the next one that's weak, though. Thankfully, another opportunity here for FaZe. Falcated does slip through. Looks like we will get a flag pull out of FaZe in this situation. The only issue here is the double dilemma of the rockets spawning up as well, though, right? They can get stopped in just a second. You can see they didn't have access to it. And Frosty's the one with them. He can put this flag run down.
It's going to be so difficult for them to try and advance this one. They have to find slays. Falcated does get 1. Unfortunately, 2 go down for FaZe. Rockets still haven't been used from Frosty. And with this grapple now in hand, Frosty gets control of the bar right away. Makes it an easy kill there, and that flag run is going to be shut down. The flag in the middle of the map as well for the Pioneers. And look at this, Frosty. He's going to find 1. Can't get the second, but That player's knocked in no shield, and that flag still bottom middle. FaZe need to find a way to find this return fast.
Definitely a situation that's looking grim here for FaZe. Can't seem to find a moment to breathe. Bound taking targets left and right. He does snap back to kill Manny. The moment he turns around, though, he's got Soul Snipe behind him. Soul Snipe with a triple as well off of this flank. He's finding ways to get behind enemy lines so quickly, and he forces FaZe to turn around. And because of it, it always seems like they're in pressure from all directions. Falcated, he'll at least break away with this OS.
All right, if you're trying to find some copium as a FaZe fan in the chat, you got overshield. You're only down one flag. It's only going to take one successful flag run to try and tie this one up. Unfortunately, it's not going to be this time around. That overshield, it's wasted. It's put to waste. It's put down. Falcated off respawn, and Pioneers once again in control of the map. And with limited time, FaZe need to figure out a way to make a play.
Timer becoming an issue here. 1 minute, 30 seconds on the clock to make ends meet. Frosty does die. Bound. Maybe an opportunity to advance here. He's got to win a 1v1, maybe a 2v1 to do it. You can see the longer he takes that fight, the less likely it is that he'll win that. Falcated will take up or pick up on the damage at the very least. Can't quite get the grappler out center. FaZe doing everything they can to just hold center map in this situation, though, and they don't have a lot of time to find an answer here.
Yeah, that's just a difference in teamwork right now we're seeing between these two. I mean, look how coordinated Pioneers are, how they're always together, how they're always taking separate angles, but they're using teamwork in order to do it. I mean, even that kill right there, even this kill right here. So much pressure from everyone on the Pioneers and FaZe. They just continuously are fighting these 1v2s without any opportunity to really compete because of the map control that we've seen from the Pioneers the entire game.
The comfort out of Frosty on this team, you'd think he was a mainstay on this roster. The dude with 34 and 15 on the board, just harassing them in the back of the base. He takes another perfect. 21 seconds to find an answer, and I don't think FaZe will make it at this point here, Wes. The pressure just too relentless.
Yeah, no disrespect to Tallers, but Frosty finding himself a home very quickly on Pioneers. And sometimes it's like that. I touched on it at the start of the show, right? As this game hits a close, Pioneers are going to win this game one. Touchdowns come through, immediately shut down, though. But I touched on it at the start of the series, or at the start of the show, right? It was...
Oh, my God, dude.
Unbelievable. Actually, just Frosty... I think they let them touch the flag so Frosty could get another kill or so. Because 36 and 15 plus 21. But to the point I was trying to make, when you make a team change, it was in the half of ESA Blue that I was making this. It was when you make that team change, when you pick up a new player, Frosty being that sub, you almost get to play with nothing to lose if you're Pioneers. You get to play with all the momentum, and everyone's trying their tails off because it's that freestyle environment, and we see Pioneers just flying with that environment around them so far in that game one. And if you're FaZe, you do not want to lose to a team with the subs. So this has got to be a pretty frustrating experience for them there in game one. They never really could find their footing, and Frosty just pedal to the metal, showing you exactly why he's one of the best in Halo Infinite.
Frosty's thriving in that freestyle, like you said, right? You can just tell he's just having fun with it. Like the way he's taking these fights, even just the very end with the OS guy, the attention to detail to try to backsmack the guy and then still get the kill with the shotgun despite not making it work. Everything just seems to be clicking for him. And like you said, it's such a low pressure environment. He comes in, he knows how to do his role very efficiently. It seems like he is locked in right from the get-go. FaZe, on the other hand, what a wake-up call. Right? They're looking exasperated off the start here. Every single member of FaZe shut down in that game. I mean, we still got a chance to look at the board with the minute delay, Wes, but everyone negative on FaZe with no real hope. And Boo Boo and Foul specifically, under that 10-kill threshold for a good chunk of that game. It took a while to kind of regain their footing, to get back to center map, to start to make strides. And by the time they did, it was just too little too late. So we need to see the early game energy out of FaZe this time. That has to happen in Slayer Aqua.
We'll see if they can do it. Unfortunately, it's the first blood going over to the hands of Druck, followed by two more. Make it the Pioneers a perfect opening they need to secure this camo. So much pressure on the map already for FaZe, and watch, rinse, repeat right back here in game two with full control of the Pioneers.
Something going seriously wrong on the side of FaZe to start this out. Hopefully they can gain back their footing early on rather than later. Frosty not going to make it easy to do, though, with this combo. He's got everything he can need to destroy in the back of the base. And the target acquisition as well, just leaving one behind, going for the easily accessible victim. Takes a second now shortly later. There's the double on the foul. Just quite, not quite able to stay upright. The destruction out of those dynamos will delete him.
Honestly, not a bad job by FaZe to try and get out of that base efficiently. Still a 5-kill game in favor of Pioneers, so still a great start for them. But FaZe looked like they were going to be on the ropes here early, and we'll see if that's actually going to be the case. Now that they were able to take down Frosty with that heat wave, Bound, he picks up a kill in the kill feed with that heat wave, so a good job by them to answer some. But I mean, Pioneers, just how fast they're moving around the map, you can see how free they are to do so. You need to see more pressure out of FaZe to stop some of this mobility on the side of Pioneers.
And I mean, on the topic of mobility, who else but Soul Snipe, right? The dude is always flanking. We see him get yet another back smack onto Snipe down here. 6-1 to start the game. The man has died one time and doesn't look like he'll die much more at this rate. They already got 4 spawns into blue here, so going for the perimeter right off the rip. Frosty Manny with 2. A beautiful nade for a spree to kill off the third, and all 4 dead with no answer out of FaZe here. 19-7, Wes. It's just what's happening, right? The momentum out of game 1 injected into game 2 immediately for Pioneers. They're too confident here.
Yeah, I mean, they're rolling off of a big series win against Cloud9 yesterday. And then now, with Frosty on the team, they're starting to make slight work of FaZe. You can see that the Pioneers are starting to find their comfort. And this is the ceiling for these guys. Even with Talek in place of Frosty, their actual team, I love this team, and that they can find consistency. They're going to have such a big opportunity to have success. The game is ended. Not sure of the technical difficulty and the reason why at this point in time, but I mean, if Pioneers can play like that consistently and they can fit Talek in to replace what Frosty was able to do for them, or even just like 85% of what Frosty was able to do,
yeah,
they're going to have a lot of success as a team this year.
Yeah, wild, the performance we've seen so far. And I'm not sure what disconnected us from that game. I believe it was 19-12, I think, at the end of that. I'll get the final update in just a second.
That's what we saw.
Right, so we'll come back and likely just pick up where we left off. But, I assume FaZe, they've got a moment to breathe here, and I think it's a moment that they'll need to kind of, regain, coordinate themselves once again. They definitely have what it takes to go toe-to-toe and be the dominant factor in the series, especially considering they are the full 4 squad here as well. So not sure what conversation needs to be had, and I think that opening, when we come back into the game, going to be so crucial, right? Because that's really what set the snowball. You can't let Frosty get away with that camo, with the heat wave to start the game. Just everything that kind of barreled, out of control came from that opening strat.
Got to figure out a way to set the pace.
Yeah.
Pioneers have dominated the pace, and it's not about playing as fast as the Pioneers, but you have to control with the Pioneers a little bit better. So often are we seeing Pioneers fluently just fly across the map, not receiving damage, not receiving any kind of pressure. And FaZe just getting collapsed on. FaZe need to be able to spread out, create some space, get some angles. With that, use some teamwork and find a positive output of damage in order to swing some of these tides in your favor. It's a lot easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not claiming that I have the golden ticket to success for these guys, but that looked pretty rough from the sides of FaZe. Every time we switched to their point of view, it was constant chaos that the Pioneers were able to cause. And I mean, when you're the Pioneers and you're able to put your enemies in that kind of a situation, you will always find success.
We'll have to see what FaZe do to bounce back here, Wes. It was 19-12, so I would assume we'd need 38 kills on the side of FaZe, 31 on the side of Pioneers. When we jump back into this, I'll get the final update very shortly on production. We do have an update, and I'll get you the actual scores. Actually, apparently the scores are 45 for Pioneers and 50 for FaZe. I'm not sure what went wrong in that game, but I guess whatever went wrong earlier on than we had recognized, Wes. And maybe that has something to do with why things look so lopsided early on. Maybe when we jump back in, we will see a regain in confidence. Hopefully, we can see a bit more back and forth here. And one thing especially is just finding ways to force trades when they're at a deficit as well, right? Remember the full 4 dead situation we saw right before we cut away from the game? They didn't even have an answer off of that collapse on the spawn, right? Not even a single trade. So you would hope even at a deficit, they would find ways to at least, pull things out to somewhat even.
I think you stated it as the game was ending. This starting strat for FaZe is vital to their success here in game 2. And honestly, if they want to stay in this series very long, they have to have some kind of a success here in game 2. Maybe not win it outright. I mean, obviously, you want to tie the series up. Going down 2-0 is not going to be fun, but you need to make sure this isn't a blowout, because you're only going to find frustration on the side of FaZe if these games continue to be ugly. So hopping on board with Snipe down, and who better of a player it would be to try and turn this game around. Unfortunately, he can't quite hit that last shot onto the player. That player stays alive, and with it, it's going to be an early lead once again for Pioneers.
Yeah, unfortunately, almost an exact replica of what we just saw in that first run of this game here. Everyone now spawning up on yellow side. Frosty looking for any kind of split spawner, and that's because he's got the freedom to do it. You can see the pressure out of Pioneers as they assault everyone else who spawned up in the base. Getting the favor of these trades here as well, making it 6 and now 7-4 to start. Remember, FaZe will need a full 50 to win this. Pioneers only 45, so quite a lead they've already surmounted here.
Just 4 kills. 9 in total, though. FaZe need to find a way to get map control and trade efficiently. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they don't do. As they lose 2 players, Falcated Bound go down. Snipe Down trades one out as a big win into the closet to try and stop some of the pressure, and that's exactly how you stop the pressure of Pioneers. Boobaduba picks up a double of his own, so somehow they lose 2 members, and they get 3 kills in their favor as those 2 members are coming off respawn, and FaZe players may just have what it takes to start making plays.
Right, Boo Boo going huge is a great opening. Gives Snipe Down the Dynamo's opportunity to do some damage himself. He's still got coverage here, car side. A couple shots into pink, too. A lot of info on those players as well. You can see FaZe now starting to collapse. Boo Boo will be the one to lead the charge, make it 11-13, so that deficit not looking too bad anymore. They got top map control as well, so FaZe hopefully starting to turn the favor on their side here, and hopefully in time for the camo as well. Double at a Boo Boo. Can he turn it into 3? He will. Go. A beautiful little thrust back to give us a spree in that situation and some confidence back for FaZe.
Okay, so still down 5 kills in total, but you weathered the storm. You have control, and now we're starting to see signs of life from FaZe. We know FaZe are one of the best teams in the world. We know they have what it takes to make this a series, to make this a game. They didn't show us it in game 1, but right back to bounce strong in game 2. Boobaduba with the double and the kill feed again, and it really has been Boobaduba stepping up here to get his team back into this series. 9-2-4. He starts off this remake on the right foot.
If one player is popping off, sometimes that is all the team needs to get their confidence back, to find the timings they need. Boo Boo clearing up space on the map for his teammates to fill, and you can see all of a sudden Pioneers looking like they're receiving some pressure here. Manny looking for an angle of attack. Does spot one out bottom. Frosty will take a trade on the feed in the meantime, though. Manny not quite in range for a melee of his own, so FaZe going to come in aggressive into the base here. Let's
see if they can trade efficiently here, because that dynamo grenade just did so much damage. Another kill from Frosty, and that's a double to weather the storm. Gain the lead by 6 now, but a nice trade across the map to take Frosty down, and already you're seeing FaZe a little bit more in control of the pace of this game, and because of it, you're seeing why this is such a highly contested game too.
Got more control, but they still do have to punch past that scoreline by 4 at the very least, or sorry, by 5 to really tie things up and have an answer here. And unfortunately, it looks like Pioneers are still leading it. And I think a big tool of destruction going to be that heat wave. It's been transferring from Soul Snipe to Frosty, kind of back and forth. Ultimately, Pioneers taking control of it. And you see the results of having this weapon. I mean, just a leading Snipe down, Bound dead as well, 30-23. So little string of momentum here out of Pioneers, and FaZe starting to get caught in the receiving end of it.
Yeah, that was a swarm into the corner. It was a 4v1 from Pioneers onto that last player alive, and this is once again Pioneers in control of the map, and you're seeing how efficient, how they can just blow the score wide open. It was once a 1-kill lead in FaZe's favor here in the remake, and unfortunately that story is immediately erased. Pioneers get so many kills back in their favor once they gain control, and they're already looking to end this one as well. 27-34, so FaZe get a couple of kills. Maybe they can turn this one around. Shyway, like I'm saying, it's not about trying to win this remake. You're already down such a significant amount, but to find your footing in some of the pace of this game is vital as you go into game 3.
FaZe is doing what they can to slow things down. You can see they've got the entire car side perimeter positioning, and a Boo Boo going to help out here too, so they do at least turn 2. At the very least, like you said, come out with some momentum, with some confidence here. Boo Boo, unfortunate position to be in, does somehow skate by FaZe going to try to coordinate off of him. You can see all three of them together. So Bubu's still finding little angles, little flank opportunities with this movement here. Druck taking 2, though, as he does try to pick up that kill. So despite the efforts out of Bubu, he's doing a lot of work here to stay up. They're still down by, what, 10 at this point.
Still down 10. Bubu doing everything he can to try and bring his team back into this one. Unfortunately, just not enough to win that 1v1 in the closet, and that one swings momentum back into Pioneers' favor. 6 kills, make it 4-3. All the Pioneers need to take this series to a 2-0 lead.
Oh my God, Druck. So beautiful, too. Even in the situations where FaZe have the sandbox, have the answer, right? They always have a counter for it. Druck coming in with a stick. 2 more kills left to go for Pioneers to walk away confidently with game 2. And already push FaZe to the end of the line in our exhibition. Short-lived so far. Hopefully they can bounce back by game 3.
A little bit of promise they showed. Bubu definitely having a much better game 2 this time around than he did in game 1. And he is going to be one of those pillars that FaZe need him to be in order to stay in this one. That's going to do it, as the 50th kill will come through for the Pioneers. Remember, it was an addition of a 5-kill lead for them. So they comfortably win that one. But you did see more signs of life from FaZe. They've started to wake up, and they've started the series as about as slow as they could possibly have. So if they can continue to incrementally build in that manner, we could be in store for a hell of a game 3.
We could, right? Maybe this is the point where they even the odds, find a way to push past, find a way to adapt. They've run out of time at this point to do so. Last opportunity here. It's a single elimination as well. So FaZe, they lose this series. That's it for their tournament life. So far, Bubu is the one who seems to have found his answer, and I'd like to see Snipedown, for example, I think as well. You know, typically, I want to say all 4 of these players, main slayers in their own right, but someone like Snipedown, you know, negative in the situation, uncharacteristic, and typically a leader when it comes to slays on the team here. So hopefully they can regain that confidence, find that spotlight, right? Because at this point, very little time to do so.
For me, it's Falcated.
Okay.
Falcated has been the most consistent, best player on FaZe in Halo Infinite. He's impressed me just about every single time I've watched him, but he leaves me wanting more so far throughout this series. There's not many times we've been able to kind of praise some of the individual plays, and that being said, it really is the difference between Pioneers not allowing Falcated to really shine because of the positions that he's in, because it's a team collective effort to try and get there. But Falcated needs to wake up, and he needs to try and create space for the rest of his team. He's a guy that I have so much confidence that he can do that for his team. He's going to need to make this a series. Game 3 underway, and you're seeing Falcated on screen. Unfortunately, all of his teammates are dead. He's caught trying to chase this ball carrier, and this isn't going to be a good one as he gets taken down as well. And just like that, Pioneers start off with an amazing lead here. Power up in hand, ball at tower, and they're going to have a full setup opportunity as well.
And that's the thing, no matter the individual performance, it's that team chemistry, that team play that really comes in and dominates. In the end of the day, Pioneers right now, they clearly have it. And Manny, he's got all the resources to assert it as well, though thankfully he does die shortly there. Looks like that heat wave going to drop here in the hands of Bubu. I think it makes sense to give Bubu these tools at this point. He has been the one kind of leading the pack in terms of slays. You can see Foul now coming in with one of his own. Bubu going to drop in, get a kill too. That'll transfer hands for the setup, and I like the advance. Actually, looks like they played the ball, so I love the attention to detail out of Bubu here, too, to get to an early pickup.
Love that out of Bubu to rotate this towards scoreboard as well. Away from the likes of Manny, unfortunately, into Frosty, and Frosty takes that ball carrier down. And Manny, he finds one as well. 4 dead, though, for Pioneers. So the slays come through for FaZe. Big kills out of Snipedown and Bound there to finish off the rest of the Pioneers. That ball gets in the house. And now FaZe with the first opportunity at real control and an objective in this series. Let's see what they can do.
How do they play it? Snipedown, unfortunately, already dead. I do like the rotation out of Bound, though, to hopefully get that ball to B, but he'll stop short. Thanks to Frosty, who's going to come straight through the hallway, take a double, turn this into a triple two. And just the chaos that he can create by himself is just immense, Wes. It's wild that FaZe as a team can't shut him down.
Picking up Frosty as a sub should be illegal at this point. It should not be allowed. It is not fair for the Pioneers to pick up LeBron James at this point. Because that's basically what we're watching. I mean, his impact on the series has been so great. And the Pioneers have got to love the fact that they were able to get him on their team. 6 kills to his name, but I mean, you got to praise Manny as well, having 7 ball in hand as well. So Pioneers doing such a good job to make Frosty feel right at home in these first 3 games.
Making it pretty easy for him to play just as confident as he'd like to, though thankfully for FaZe, looks like they do have the ball transferred hands back to them. Boo with the heat wave once again. Just looking to play defense. In the meantime, you got sniped down. Foul already pushed up. Foul with a big kill on the Manny, so that should hopefully open up a little bit more ball time for him. Boo just going to pester him. As long as they can stay alive and slow him down in this situation, they can turn this into a bit of a lead for themselves here as well. I like this rotation out of Boo too. Now asserted himself in a beautiful little flank position, though Soul Snipe will get the best.
Big kill Boo didn't get right there. He had the advantage. He had the teamwork, and because he goes down, Pioneers may be able to make this setup. But a good job by FaZe, nonetheless, to get the plays they did and have the teamwork that they did to hold this setup as long as they did outside by Green. It's eventually going to get broken here, but the ball gets played, and they regain the lead by about 20 points. So FaZe actually getting the better of the Pioneers here in Game 3, here in the first round of Game 3 at least. But will they be able to continue it?
I mean, crazy enough, the most confident lead we've seen all series long was that right there, that one ball hold to get ahead of Pioneers, though it could change very shortly. You can see they got a setup forming of their own here. Frosty going to rotate on through. Pings it out for the teammates, too. Going to leave it behind. It's just, he just knows, right? The Nate going to get the kill on the Boo. And the timing on this rotation for a second. Thankfully, the repulsor will send him back and limit his options. The teamwork out of FaZe will collect the ball. And not only that, looks like they've earned themselves an OS if they can stay up here, too. Foul, doing it all.
Perfect timing to get the slays, to get the setup they need, to get the overshield as well. And now, with a couple more slays, they are going to end this round 1 in their favor. In the first times of life, we're seeing FaZe find some life here in this series. Can they bring it back? Can they make this one interesting is the question. Players spawning out by Green, and this is exactly what I wanted to see what the doctor ordered for a Game 3. It's a dose of Falcated.
Yep, Falcated moving and grooving. You can see the confidence now as he's starting to hit every single slide. Knows that they can close this one out. Knows that there's no timing for Pioneers to get to that ball. So the largest lead we've seen so far from FaZe in this series. Finally, it looks like they found some adaptation with that first round. Can they hold on to it? Don't walk off the edge to start the second round. That's how you completely reverse the momentum here.
Yeah, that's exactly what you didn't want to see. But a good job. That's you can still see that their awareness is starting to step up here. A good job by FaZe to dominate this end of that first round, get momentum in their favor, and look what momentum can do. It's almost a drug in a sense of players can just feed off of it and run with it. And already FaZe dominating round 2 in such a good position to get some ball time, maybe get a power up, and continue the momentum that they built for themselves.
There's a confidence, I think, on this map in a game type, especially that they just didn't seem to have back in Bazaar, back in Aqua. Maybe it was just a matter of time until they got the map that they knew they could play on here. Bound going to take another kill of his own. And 24 to start things out. And Boo, what a clothesline. Man's got a snipe. He's starting to feel good, you can tell.
We haven't seen the best of Boo in Infinite, I promise you that. Unfortunately, that might not be the best in Boo either, because he rips this long-time duo's head off. Unfortunate situation, but hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Unfortunately, you probably want that one back, Boo.
I mean, he hasn't missed yet, right? Technically, he's not missed yet.
Hasn't missed players, I guess. That's killing your teammate's a player, but a good job nonetheless for Boo to minimize the damage from that betrayal and actually take down some more players, continue controlling his team's favor, put the snipe to work. And although the setup is broken for FaZe, at least Boo is starting to heat up, and I love when I watch Boo heat up.
Yeah, just tagging bodies left and right, making himself a difficult kill in the process. You're looking for a wild back smack in that situation. I like the attempt. It looks like Pioneers will finally deal with him. All while they do it, they got the ball in their hands too. So quick rotation out of Pioneers to get the ball back to A. Falcated does what he can from A to try to slow it down, but you can see he's now dead on the feet. So snipe down left by his Lonesome with this advanced position. If he stays up here, though, FaZe might be able to get there to help out. You can see now they're coming in to get some slays of their own here.
Overshield again in the hands of FaZe. So good power-up control from FaZe this game as well. It's rewarded the easy kill onto the first carry, unfortunately. Too many members of the Pioneers are going to be for Boo to try and deal with. Trades do come through once again for FaZe. Not quite sure what Frosty's planned on this power-up, but he just get an easy kill. Power-up actually not coming up for a long time, but the rotation, the communication from Pioneers there to rotate that, to throw it to Frosty. You can tell how comfortable they feel with this new addition for today.
Pioneers with a little opening to get that ball out back A as well. You can see the coverage and a soul snipe to help secure it, but FaZe coming in hot and heavy. Falcated, I believe, with that heat wave below, so staying alive going to be crucial. Boo-Boo, you got to love the cheeky play there, too, just jumping off of the dummy for an angle. He'll finally enter the fray, and as he does, you got Bound and Falcated with 2 kills of their own. Boo-Boo with a quick rotate the ball, so no time wasted off of these slays to transfer it into a setup, and FaZe really starting to work together here.
You want to talk about faith in teammates? Boobadooboo had the faith that they were going to be able to kill that ball carrier before he rotated it any further. That ball gets played. Boobadooboo in a perfect position to play efficient, objective, capitalize on the kills that FaZe got, and now FaZe have an opportunity to regain the lead here.
Bound trying to pull the AR out. Unfortunately, does not work. Steady BR coming out of Pioneers to answer. Frosty with a kill of his own, and Pioneers going to pull the ball away. A closely contested game in round 2 here. Pioneers looking to tie it. FaZe looking to seal out their first game in the series. Frosty not going to make it easy to do, though.
That setup for FaZe was broken immediately, and now FaZe having to try and push the members of Pioneers. This ball carrier's back tower. Good positioning from Boobadooboo once again to get right onto that ball. Good communication, good faith in your teammates. And even though he has snipe, he picks up this ball because he knows how important it is for them to rack up efficient ball time with how the game has been so far.
What a push at a Pioneers, though, right? You can see Boo-Boo just trying to line up a shot, trying to defend for OS, but the aggressive play at a Pioneers overwhelms him, and now Manny coming in to seal it out. Nice little play ball out of FaZe. They know they are not going to be staying alive in this situation, thanks to Manny. They'll close out Snipe down as well, and can FaZe find their footing for the respawn ball here before Pioneers do themselves? You can see they got a slight lead to work with. The brawl about to start here. Bottom mid in the meantime. Frosty with 2.
Brawl down, bottom middle. Frosty picks up a double 2 in the favor of FaZe go as well. So this ball, although Manny's able to get it into the house, he knows that there's going to be members of FaZe that come at him very shortly. Druck finds the first kill. Druck finds the second with the heat wave, and that's going to give them a major opportunity to hold this setup. And now FaZe coming off respawn as 3 were dead are going to have 1, maybe 2 pushes to try and break this setup, and that's a big kill from Snipedown to create an opening.
Snipedown might be able to slow things down in this situation. You can see Pioneers are still pulling away. Time, though, 80 and counting. Foul starting to get real aggressive. Maybe a little too much for his own good. Druck going to come in with a finisher on that snipe. Druck going to get finished off as well, though. They're still collecting ball time as it happens, though. Beautiful little rotate from Pioneers as they turn that setup on A into a setup on C here, and FaZe just doing what they can to keep up.
90 points and climbing. You gotta go now. Just 10 points is all the Pioneers need, and with that ball back tower, it's gonna be very difficult to try and get through that shield through these players. And Pioneers just 3 points away from taking this to a round 3. They're gonna get it, and that's going to be the Pioneers making round 2 much more interesting. And now this game 3 going the distance.
Here we are, final round in what could be the final game in our series on side of FaZe. If FaZe can't find a way to clutch up here, we've seen them at least take a round so far. We know that they're capable of doing this. They're just going to have to ice up in this moment, and we'll see what Fal can do with the ball to rotate it out. Couple kills to start this out, too, so FaZe still confident despite that round loss.
Okay, so 10 seconds for Overshield. Ball is in house. Spawners over at green. FaZe in every position to get some ball time and potentially that Overshield that's coming up. But unfortunately, the snipe, it gets taken down, and that perfect rotation comes through. Somehow, the Pioneers have got the positioning to secure Overshield, and Druck picks the ball carrier off before he can get any further. So FaZe on the ropes, with what look to be such a strong setup at the first.
Because of that clutch snipe, though, that ball didn't get played as well, so you can see Pioneers looking to get to it, though. FaZe, I love that little clutch slide in. I think that was Snipedown and picked up the ball, played it off last second. Last thing he wants is Pioneers to have access to a setup, because you can see they are just taking names left and right. 3 dead on the feed here. Druck going to clean up the last, and that ball will eventually rotate back to the setup they wanted.
All right, what can we do with Snipe? Druck finds the body shot, doesn't quite hit the head somehow, but gets so much information on this player. That player is going to have to be forced to back down, stay alive. Just more time being awarded to the Pioneers, all in the meanwhile. This Snipe going to be such a difficult push to try and break, but unfortunately, Druck not really watching too many angles as he thought a player was pushing back tower, loses his life, and that's the opening. FaZe needs to break the setup, and the ball doesn't get played either, just on the ledge. And because of that, Bound able to pick this one up. And with a couple of kills going in their favor, making 4 dead for Pioneers, FaZe now have just taken the setup and made it their own.
So fortunate for FaZe. I mean, a beautiful collapse, but that lip on the edge of the ledge, especially on B, right? It comes into play more often than not. If you don't get that full toss off and the ball just rolls, it'll catch the ball rolling down the hill. So I got to think it's a strategic inclusion there out of 343 to keep things interesting in these moments. But FaZe, I mean, because of it and their collapse, look at what they've gained here. 43 points. Ball does get tossed off. OS on the body of Boo though, and he's got a heat wave as well.
It was his 2 teammates, so it's up to Boo to try and make a play and deny this ball from going anywhere in the Pioneers' favor. Wow. They find one, but unfortunately that overshield, not enough. And Halo Infinite to keep him alive here as of yet, but Bound finding a kill staggers the respawns of the Pioneers, and the setup going to be much weaker from the Pioneers because of it, and that has allowed Snipe Down Falcated to find the opening on the help of Bound. And a great job by FaZe to get those kills, even though the ball is in the hands of the Pioneers, in order to make sure that that setup doesn't take place.
You can see Bound doing so much work, even well, one shot in that situation. Boo doing even more to get those kills. Because of it, more ball time in the favor of FaZe. Boo coming back into the fray to help out. Snipe Down going to do what he can to stay up, and because they're living and trading blows in this situation, they can still collect ball time with the numbers they have. So Pioneers backs against a wall, little reversal onto Druck. And like you said, just reading their angles of approach. They can't find an opening here.
Boo. Killing spree with the heat wave, even better just to continuously find ways to keep numbers in his team's advantage, has awarded his team such a significant lead here. Now up to 50 points as they start to rotate this ball over towards the Brutes. Multiple players of Pioneers spawning over towards green, so this is going to be difficult for them, and they have to act quickly because just 10 points is all FaZe need to take this game 3.
FaZe putting Pioneers on the ropes here in game 3. Some last-second adaptation and maybe a bit of a series on our hands too, unless Pioneers can find a way to close it out. But you can see FaZe with the final 10 seconds ticking down. Boo with a massive kill, making 98, as we'll close out our 3rd round in FaZe with their first win of the series. All of a sudden, things just got interesting. And what did you just see there, Wes?
A rough round 3 from Soul Snipe, not having a kill to his name.
Was he Goose?
Maybe that's why.
Was that?
A Goose in round 3. I'm sure it wasn't in the game. But still,
right. Damn.
Not the same Soul Snipe we saw in game 1, that's for sure. He was on fire in game 1. And FaZe shutting him down with the power weapon control, the power up control that they had in game 3. They were able to find the space they needed and to be able to dictate a little bit more of the pace. I mean, you saw how efficient Boo was with the snipe, with the heat wave, with the overshields. Getting those power upgrades in their hands and being able to use those kept their tournament dreams alive here today, right?
Yeah.
Now you're looking at Stronghold's recharge, Shyway. You have camo, you have the shock rifle. We've seen the damage that Boo can do with these weapons. We know how efficient Snipe Down can be when he gets a weapon like the shock rifle in his hands. You need to see that consistently over the best of 5 for this FaZe roster.
Yeah.
Because right now in games 1 and 2, we saw how dominant Pioneers were when they got the rockets, the Bulldog shotgun in their hands. It's a similar story for the players on FaZe, right? Great players, when you put them in great positions with power weapons, they're going to make plays.
Can't wait to see it. I'm sure we'll have some big plays coming up, and it's nice to see FaZe finally find an answer, finally find some momentum here. I mean, based off of the first 2 games, things were looking grim. Wasn't sure if they were going to bounce back, but efficient sandbox use seemed to be the name of the game. And I mean, Recharge with the healthiest sandbox out of all the competitive maps. So I can't wait to see what they do with all the options at their disposal here. But here we go. Game 4 in the series. FaZe still against that match or series point, but all of a sudden some momentum on their shoulders or on Frosty's.
Yeah, all of a sudden momentum gets ripped away as Frosty finds a triple kill. Can't hit the shock rifle shot, but makes his presence known nonetheless with some good damage. Good information as well, as C is going to be transferred over in the hands of FaZe, but B and A in the hands of the Pioneers, as well as the shock rifle. And speaking of players that are known for doing damage with power weapons, Frosty is starting to pop off.
I mean, a triple and a double to start the game, 5-0. And looking confident as hell. He goes for the no-scope cross map there, but you can just see the pressure FaZe are experiencing immediately off his spawn. They'll try to get to B. Frosty just pestering, doesn't have any nades to work with, but just holding the angle, doing damage, is giving openings to his team. You can see Manny picking up 2. Frosty re-peek in with the shock. Two members of Pioneers going to refill that space and immediately into B. Likely going to force their spawns over to C, and you can see Frosty already in position to meet it too.
Yeah, just staggering one player consistently so far in this game. The Pioneers are just able to play with numbers advantage, and look at this, just swarming like a pack of wolves onto that C stronghold to deny FaZe from any opportunity. And this trip cap now in effect. Frosty with grapple able to rotate to A, shut that player down. Oh my God. Just so efficient when he gets these weapons in his hands. 6-3 and 0 to start this one off. The trip cap starting to pay its money and gold as far as the score is concerned, as they almost have 100 points already.
I mean, look at the slays on the board, Wes. This is wild. Like, if this was a Slayer, I mean, 6 out of Frosty, 4 Soul Snipe, Druk 4. Like, they still got a goose on the side of Bound here, but I mean, yeah, the damage, the slays, the pressure off his spawn as Soul Snipe picks up another. My God, the snowball that they've created, already hitting 100 points. And this match has only just started.
All right, they're out of the spawn trap. FaZe have control of A and C. How long can they hold it? How long will they be able to keep map control in their advantage? Unfortunately, Falcated, he's forced to back down to a great grenade. They're going to have to try and transfer B over because the C push was successful from Pioneers, and the Pioneers pick up 2 kills as well. So B stronghold, it gets shut down, and already the Pioneers have regained control of 2 of the strongholds.
Fal doing what he can to just control 1 in this situation, but you can see how quickly Pioneers come in with the pinch on both sides. Fal just immediately deleted. Frosty now just charging on through to control. And there's just no lack of confidence in any of the gameplay here. Going to slide over a nade in the process, though, and FaZe with a little momentary lease on life. Like you said, 4 dead. So an opportunity to finally get some map control. The first opportunity we've seen all game.
They should have a great idea of where Pioneers are coming off respawn. Yeah. So this is a big moment for them. How can they apply the pressure that now that they have the information they need in order to build some points back in their favor and to turn this into a game for
beauty
that's competitive. A great job by Boo to find that first kill, 2 go down for the Pioneers, and now once again FaZe with numbers control can start to make this game a little bit more interesting.
And as long as they hold the position, they get the favorable spawns too. You can see Snipe Down now spawning up in pipes to continue to hold the shell here. So round 2 here for Pioneers to try to break in. Now Frosty looking to weave in through the center. Looks like he has been seen. You can see how many different angles he's contesting at the same time as he's going back and forth into fights, though unfortunately taking shots as he does. It picks up a kill on the Bound despite being 1 shot. So maximum efficiency out of Frosty, and it looks like all will happen. Pioneers, they found their kills and they found A.
You need a stronghold, though. Unfortunately, it's just going to be shortly converted here as Camo coming up in 5 seconds. FaZe once again in control, so starting to find their footing here, but a lot of work to do because the rough start from the start of the game is punishing. You need to figure out a way to continue this momentum now, and unfortunately that Camo, I believe it did go into the hands of the Pioneers, but it was burned, and now Ubaduba with a lot of responsibility to try and defend A, but he's stuck, no shield neither, and he knows that there's a player top elevator. Can he win the one-on-one? He does it, but unfortunately another member of Pioneers was able to jump in that stronghold. The reset on B comes through, but A and C now in the hands of Pioneers.
Pioneers slowly retaking the maps through A. You can see Snipe Down doing what he can just to suppress him. And a little bit of life out of FaZe as they do try to creep back on the scoreboard. Pioneers still finding little moments to pull ahead, though. Frosty right here out center. Just looking to damage both the Attic and B stronghold and get into the fight up for A too. So just the attention to detail. Can't quite keep alive in that situation, though. FaZe, like you said, going to find the openings despite it.
Uh-oh. Manny, sword in hand.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Gets the reset on C, but A and B in the hands of FaZe for now. But will they expect Manny to be sitting there with sword? A big kill from Snipe Down to get numbers in his team's advantage. Shock rifle in hand. Let's see his best Frosty impression here. Finds another kill. So Snipe Down holding down pipes is a big for FaZe to keep B controlled, but the pressure on the elevators seems to have been successful here for Pioneers. What can Snipe Down do about it?
Well, he doesn't have too many teammates to do much. You can see he's looking for a clutch headshot in that situation, but knows to back down immediately. Bound going to have to do the same. Got Falcated now spawning up with him, but so much pressure out of Pioneers. They're already on the B stronghold. Looks like they do manage to at least get the reset, but bleeding time in the process. Bound going to try to get to the fight here. Maximum damage he'll put out, but the stronghold's still getting capped, right? So he's forced to reveal himself out center map just to get to the hill. and try to stop the bleeding. We got Camo spawning up all while it happens, so FaZe need to keep their numbers in the situation, and thankfully, they are winning their fights. Bound gonna immediately assault the spawner.
Big.
Massive kill on the Druck. That gives them the breathing room to get the Camo and to get some of the map in the situation.
I love that FaZe is pushing a trip cap here. This is a big opening for them if they can hold this trip cap for a little bit. Bound picks up a kill. Falcated finds one. Everybody on FaZe starting to have success. And now the rotation to elevator is a very important one because they need to find this reset. They get it. Only down 80 points now. Spawners into pipes. This is a great opportunity for FaZe to get right back in his.
You got to take note on these rotates out of bounds. Such clean rotates, right? You see how quickly he got from attic to contest A and then to double right back to the pipes hallway just to be in all points of the action almost all at the same time. You're bound going to come right back in with a couple shots of his own. You got Falcated to clean up the kill. Full map control because of them. And look at that scoreline. Not so much of a deficit anymore. FaZe really starting to creep up. And Pioneers forced to play defense. Druck with a clutch double. And we'll see if they can shut down Bound here now.
All right, Bound. You got to control A here, and you know the push is coming. Here comes Druck. He has sword. Do you expect it? The answer is no. It's an easy kill on the Bound, and unfortunately, multiple members now from the Pioneers able to hop into A. C is being lost. B is transferred over in their favor, however, and you know Pioneers are going to be just fine with that being the case. So how can FaZe push from C is going to be the next big question because they have to act fairly quickly. Pioneers are over 200 points here shortly.
FaZe looking for an opening to break in here, and they got to be so careful with how they do it. You can see pressure coming in through A. Frosty tagging out the elevator 3 times, though, so he wants to let him know that Bound is there. Bound now dead. Unfortunately for him, does not get a trade. We got foul with 1, but they're still holding things down. 212 and counting on the board, so FaZe quickly running out of time. Camo about to spawn up as well here. Druck still alive with the sword, and they got to get rid of that Predator and put the sword down. And hopefully that gives FaZe some room to breathe here. You can see they're trying to stay up for B, trying to get the Camo. Soul Snipe not going to make it easy,
Turns the corner. He turns the corner with Camo. That was big. If we can hop on board with that Camo player, he's going to be in such a good position to deny C from going in the hands of Soul Snipe. Soul Snipe knows that this Camo player is around him. He has to. Unfortunately, he's not looking for him, and Boobadooboo took the time to get sword as well. So it's an easy kill, and Boobadooboo finding a second on the Druck, able to pressure elevator. 3 dead for Pioneers, last player alive. He's bottom elevator. He's not going to be able to stop this one from Boobadooboo, especially now that Boobadooboo has sword. And Boobadooboo has done it with the Camo in hand. Another classic vintage Boobadooboo play with Camo. Could just keep FaZe in this one.
He just completely changed the course of the game. Everything flipped on its head. 219 and counting, and Pioneers now tasked with an opening to get to these hills. You can see Boo Boo does not need to move in the situation. Yeah, there you go, on to Frosty, right? And the moment he finds the answer, look at that, no hesitation to get to C. And if he does hold it, an angle on to the backsides of Pioneers are going to try to find a way to control the map. Unfortunately, they're all dying, though, so Pioneers might be able to find access. Falcated last one up, and they see him in back elevator. Frosty sniffs him out.
They were in such a good position, man. One grenade comes from long haul, knocks down 2 players to no shield of the members of FaZe that were in that C stronghold, and because of it now, FaZe on their ropes. Once again, 220 to 228. This game could not be any closer. FaZe need to figure out a way to get kills. They find 2, but just like that, it's going to be a big 1v1 won by Bound, and that may just do it. 3 dead for Pioneers, and Bound may have just clutched.
Oh my God, FaZe finding ways to bounce back here. Can they win A, though? You can see Snipe Down doing everything can to hold on to it. They got to get to... I mean, yeah, B would have to be the answer here. Booba's going A, though. He's going to try to fight A in this situation. 2 directly above. Can he slow play his way to do it? This would be massive if he does. Scenes 1.
He's surrounded.
Takes him with the melee, though. Does get dropped in the trade. Unfortunately, Soul Snipe going to take another. And because of it, that might be the game right there.
That should be the game right there. B and A in the hands of Pioneers. Falcated could not get the kill on the Soul Snipe, and that's going to do it. The Pioneers are going to take the series 3-1. FaZe could make it interesting there towards the end, but not enough after the slow start. And man, if you're FaZe, pushing that to a game 5 would have been something, especially the way that you started the series. But Pioneers show you that they have just what it takes with the likes of Frosty on their side to get themselves in the finals today.
What an interesting way to close that, though, too, Wes, because we both saw that little opening at a Boo Boo where he goes and he headbutts the A stronghold. What's the play in that situation, though, right? Do you back up and maybe try to secure attic side of the map and give your teammates favorable spawns to hold on to like a BC temporarily and fend them off to maybe get back to A last second, whatever it is. Boo Boo instead goes for a bit of a risky, he tries to stealth play it, but a risky situation. He doesn't have numbers there.
I think the issue there is that there's 2 members at elevator, and like your teammates are giving you that information that Pioneers sent 2. I think it was the last 2 players alive for Pioneers were in elevator, and Boobadoo was going to be the last guy alive in a 1v2 situation. You want to see him rotate to be a little bit faster, and you want to see him like process that information. I don't know if it's a perfect play, right? I don't know if they spawn pipes above Boobadoo when they're just able to pick him off there. But you try to flip the map on them, in my opinion. In my opinion, you got to go to B. You got to get there fast because you just flip A for B in your favor. You hold C, and you hope it works out in that regards. There's no way you're going to win a 1v2 coming in from bottom elevator if you're Boo Boo. And especially when you're that late to the party, you're not going to be able to impact the fight. He was able to win a 1v1. And in all honesty, it could have worked out if Falcata wins that 1v1 against Soul Snipe.
Sure.
It was just a really difficult 1v1 because they're playing with height advantage. They get to kind of dictate how the battle goes because they're at elevator already. You're trying to push into elevator, and that's such a difficult position to try and push into. It almost happened, but if I'm FaZe, I'm trying to flip the map there to try and secure B, and unfortunately, that's just not the play that they read.
Yeah.
And the way FaZe played it, they needed that 1v1 to go there in their favor, and it just didn't.
Right. Such an interesting moment, though, too, right? So much pressure that you're under in those final seconds to make the decision, to make it quickly. He's got to do something, right? You got 6 seconds to stop that timer. So just wild that, one little change in a decision might have been the answer in that situation. I think the hope is that they get a perimeter of some sort to counter them. Boo Boo maybe being in A, maybe favorable spawns, up on Addict's side, come out behind them, and then he's got cover fire. He's got help to hold on to the map while they try to bleed out those last couple seconds. But what's beautiful is how close it was, despite that, Wes. I think this series at the start, it was hard to tell whether or not it was going to go the distance when you saw the dominance out of Frosty, out of Pioneers, out of Bizarre CTF, right? What was it, 36 kills out of Frosty in that first game? Made you wonder if FaZe had the wherewithal to bounce back, but they did. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough to hold on for the whole series. But a show, I think we got nonetheless.
Yeah, FaZe didn't really come to play in that game 1. I think they got kind of like sucker punched, right? Yeah. And you could feel that they were struggling to find their footing. Obviously, middle of game 2, it really felt like they started to find their footing. Boobadoo started to heat up. Game 3, Falcata had started making plays. Everybody on FaZe actually stepped up, made individual plays. And because of it, you started to see what FaZe is capable of. It was just a little bit of a too little too late kind of a story. You got to figure out a way in a best of 5 to start hot. You cannot afford to lose games early in the series because you just start to feel that pressure build up against you, and you leave yourself with no room for error like they did in game 4.
Right. Well, the result of that would be, unfortunately for FaZe, now out of the tournament, right? Single elimination, best of 5. That's it for them. Pioneers now move on to face United. The winner will get $500. But before we get that, let's send it back to Yeso. Let's see what he thinks of the last series.
I'm thinking that was a hell of a series from Pioneers, and they take the 3-1 win over FaZe. They move on. They'll face E United in the grand finals tonight. And there's a lot of different angles that you can attack this series from. And I want to start kind of from the beginning with the fact that, of course, Frosty subbing in for Pioneers here. And there's a few different ways you can look at it. And I think it's easy for a lot of people to look at a player like Frosty coming into a roster and just say, oh, you've taken a good team, you've added Frosty to it. Easy claps. Like, they're going to crush, they're going to be incredible, and credit to obviously the talent of the Pioneers roster as well as the individual player that Frosty is, that is not an unrealistic expectation to have. But I think it's important to look at a team as good as Pioneers, and part of what makes them so good is that teamwork, the incredible rotations, the communication that they have, and understand that adding in a player like Frosty, you are subtracting to an extent some teamwork, the familiarity, the comfort that 4-man roster has, and slotting in a player like Frosty, while he brings an incredibly high skill ceiling, that lack of comfortability to an extent with the roster can create some issues and can counter some of the skill that you add bringing Frosty in. And that is part of why I still expected FaZe to win this one. I think Pioneers is, even with their normal roster, a really good team that can throw down with the likes of FaZe. You add in Frosty, and that is an incredible injection of skill. But I think with what you lose, dropping that fourth player, at least for a night, does hurt a team like Pioneers specifically. But they played so well, and very specifically, they came out of the gate in this series looking really good. I did not expect a 2-0 start from this team, and FaZe, as Clutch was kind of highlighting at the end of game 2, after kind of the close finish in that Slayer game, talking about how FaZe was kind of incrementally getting better in those across those first 2 games, and that if they could continue that trend, that they could get we could get a hell of a series out of this, and that did show. FaZe was really solid in game 3, and then you look at game 4, one that definitely didn't start in their favor, right? Pioneers come out of the gate in that Strongholds map, dominate, they hit over 100 points before FaZe even gets on the board, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, are our Pioneers just going to dominate this game? But FaZe fought back, and it was a real roller coaster of a fourth game there, where it felt like, at multiple points, you were looking at Pioneers as saying, okay, like they're just going to push this momentum all the way through, they're going to win it, and you could say the same thing for FaZe at multiple points. They get that really good comeback at multiple kind of late stages of that game and really got things rolling. And, credit to Pioneers for finishing things off, I should say, and closing out that series, because you get that, game 5, right? If FaZe is able to push that to one more, the confidence builds, they carry more momentum having those 2 wins in a row, and you never know what happens in that game 5, especially because it's Slayer, and that is, to an extent, the most coin flippy mode, right? You never quite know what's going to happen in a Slayer game. So really a hell of a series there. Well done from Pioneers. Frosty played really well. The whole roster looked good. And FaZe had some flashes of brilliance there. They weren't able to get it done tonight. They, of course, fall 1-3. But, I mean, that was an exciting debut for them here on Series E. I hope we get to see them again very, very soon. I'm, of course, looking forward to seeing them compete in Kansas City in a month's time. And man, the Halo Infinite competitive scene looking really fun, really fascinating at the top, and it's going to be really, really cool. But we still have one more match to go tonight. Of course, Pioneers moving on. They face off against E United, a big best of 5 ahead of us. We got a couple of gentlemen ready to call all the action. So I'm going to hand it back to Shyway and Clutch to get us rolling.
Thank you, Yeso, and I agree. I hope we get to see more of FaZe in the near future at ESA, but in the meantime, I can't wait to see this series. We saw dominance at E United on their side of the bracket, and then Pioneers, they're looking good, especially with Frosty on the team, right? He looks right at home. He's been killing it as a unit, of part of the roster. I don't even know how to say this other than it looks like he's been there all along, Wes.
And if you remember, Frosty actually has some experience playing with these Pioneers guys over in Esports Arena tournaments back in Halo 5. So not the first time he's played around with these guys. And I think Frosty's probably a very easy Halo player to play with, especially with how his screen looked in that first series. So very excited to kind of see this new version of this Pioneers team. Little substitution. Maybe like what's the best way to say it? It's like you own a Madden game and you get to trade a player onto a team that isn't on your team, and now all of a sudden your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers instead of a Joe Flacco or something. So it's not the diss Tolic at all, but it is nice to kind of be able to see an all-star style match where you put players that technically don't get to play with these guys too often, but see what they're capable of in the moment. And Frosty making the most so far in the first series, but going to be a completely different situation here as we hop into the series against a team like E United, because E United a little bit more structured, I would say, than FaZe, a little bit more maybe slow paced, and a lot more teamwork. So we'll see if there's openings in the new Pioneers team here to see if E United can find success with those openings.
Right. I feel like if anybody can find those openings, it would be a team like United, right? They're so consistent as a roster. They're so coordinated, and they play this game in a very structured way, like you had said. So United likely a force in this series, and we'll see how it plays out. Of course, Pioneers no stranger to dominance as well, especially with this man on their team.
Frosty, snipe in hand. Decides to relocate towards the scoreboard, going to reposition himself behind his teammates. I actually like this play by him. Let them go forward. Let them be them. blunt of the force here on the push towards C, and unfortunately Frosty loses Drug. He's going to be in a perfect position to shut down this flank. Unfortunately, he can't hit the no-scope, and a nade comes through, and he united. Shut that push down immediately, in a much different story here. At the start of live fire, strongholds for Pioneers as they go 4 dead. E United complete control of the map. You see Pioneers forced to come off respawn, and already Rain positioning himself in such a strong position here back green to trying to defend B.
Such great coverage, too. Oh, he hits that stick. Beautiful out of Rain. He's just, chucking nades in all the spots and ends up doing so perfectly. That's just what happens, I think, when you just got the muscle memory, right? Rinse and repeat, that kind of process, and things just work out with perfect timing. Rain, speaking of timing, going to get right back into C to help out. Easy secure once again. Now they're just barreling down center, getting aggressive off of pressure. I think that snipe's still in the hands of Pioneers, but not for long at this rate. Maybe Druck does at least get a kill. Looks like the trade comes in. Sparty on the chase for another victim here out in B, and the team work, the chemistry out of E United. We saw it in their previous series. It's just so apparent.
Going to be camo in the hands of Ryan Noob, but the AR as well, and a great job by him to find that kill under Frosty. Unfortunately, he gets shut down by a grenade, and a big double kill from Druck keeps B in the favor of the Pioneers for now. Starting to climb back in this one, so it looked like United off to such a strong start. So much cohesiveness was shown so far from them in this game 1 to build that 65-point lead, but Pioneers fighting back.
The objective here for them to just get that high ground control, get this C, hopefully start to pour out from there. You can see United favorable spawns to continue to get back to B so quickly, getting the best of their fights. Ryan Noob going to double back here once again to try to hold off C. Stronghold looks like he's got his team collapsing in to do so as well, so they will get the best of the map. Ryan Noob going to patiently connect with this jump. I find with that jump, when you take time to line it up, it's harder to hit.
It's harder,
right?
Absolutely.
You just gotta,
it's so much more difficult,
right? And I actually know personally that he has like an aim lineup for it, I think, too. I find it's just all feel. You just feel it out. It just goes, anyway, he knows everything else better than I do, that's for sure.
More focused on the strategy of the game was the jump, and although he does miss it, it costs the United a little dearly, right?
Sure.
Maybe not because he missed the jump, but they end up losing the battle. And 4 dead for E United. Complete control in the hands of Pioneers now. It's a trip cap, and all of a sudden E United's lead, it's going to diminish very quickly. As this overshield also coming up in 20 seconds. So how long can the Pioneers keep this setup, keep this control of the map? Because if they can get this overshield, this camo controlled, it could be continued on into a lead in their favor.
Very quickly start to catch up on the scoreline here. Frosty getting aggressive with his teammate as well. Straight into A. Looks like they will collect it. Going to trade out the map in the process. You can see SoulSnipe opposite side just pestering him. He does die, though. United going to do what they can to fight back in this situation, but not quite working out, right? Somehow the defense comes in on C in the meantime here. So full map coverage as they're forced to get to A to slow the bleeding. All of a sudden, the lead ripped away from him, and Druck going to take a cross-map kill thanks to that nade.
Druck using this elbow as a very powerful position to try and back these big door players down. SoulSnipe trying to do his best to deny the push to green as well. Unfortunately, it's going to leave Druck by himself when he goes down, and 3 go down for Pioneers. The last player alive is Frosty. He's trying to force himself into bottom middle. He's not going to be able to stop B, and unfortunately, he's going to find himself by himself, and that repulsor knocks him straight up in the air, makes him a duck, but nobody there to shoot that one out of the sky. And for Frosty fans, he finds himself a double, and that immediately gives the Pioneers an opportunity to recapture B.
Yeah, all you did to Frosty was just delay his kills a couple seconds, right? He just delay the inevitable. Flies up into the air, comes back down, and dominates. He'll pick up a couple nades too. The use of those spikes, right? So convenient. It's such a bane for anybody coming out of the A stronghold. I mean, having a heat wave helps as well. You'll see he comes out in a trade. Sparty going to at least replace him, start to earn back some map here. You can see they took a battering, though. 135 out of that little bout of control from Pioneers.
Honestly, a good job by United to trade with Frosty back there to remove the heat wave out of the hands and get B back in their control. So Pioneers, although they've had openings so far throughout this game, United has done a really good job to minimize how far that opening goes. Keeping this one pretty close now, just about 10 points separates the two. Unfortunately, C is going to be lost. You're seeing Sparty having to play this one a little bit slower now, having to kind of play his life as he catches one player off guard, and that's actually a perfect play from Sparty to find the opening pick and to stop the pressure of Pioneers onto B, and they're going to be able to flip A as well.
United with some map coverage here. Sparty already just pre-firing into bottom mid. Want to deny any form of challenge here out of Pioneers. Continue to control C side. And hopefully get their time back, right? They started so confident, so coordinated. Pioneers found their footing. Sparty with a spree, though. You can see he's getting going. Can't quite stay alive in that situation, though. And you can see Pioneers now starting to collapse from two sides. Rain still defending, though.
Such a difficult push from Pioneers there. It ends up being successful as they transfer over B, but Druck not doing too much damage with that snipe as he was the first one to go down. Somehow Pioneers still able to come out favorable in that situation. Bodes well for their opportunity here as they look to try and swarm onto C, and a great repulsor off the map, and 4 were dead for Pioneers momentarily. Control going in the hands of E United once again, and it was a brief moment of total control. It is going to be an A spawn for Pioneers, and we'll see how E United want to play this one. As you see multiple members towards the big door, they may try and push for this trip cap.
Something I notice a lot of teams do is try to isolate B, just, remove that from the equation, try to rotate through the camo side instead, though Frosty looks like he's barreling straight down center.
That's what they do.
And whatever they did, it worked pretty damn well. 3 dead. You got the one remaining player on the map going to try to dip out of the action, but no luck to Ryan. Frosty will chase him down, and they've earned back everything because of it. Can they hold on to it, though? You can see United immediately off of spawn. Frosty going to catch one here. Once again, does he chase? Looks like he'll stay alive for now. Can't live for too long, though, and Sparty being very difficult to kill here.
Yeah, a massive job by Spartan to just stay alive in that situation. Does solid damage on the Frosty, but more importantly, does not give up his life and keeps the numbers.
Wow.
And it just allows for teamwork to process for E United. A great job by them to get out of that situation. But in all honesty, right before that, a little bit of a blunder, as we knew E United had the exact information they needed from the Pioneers of the respawners over in A. They don't predict well enough where that push was coming from. They went 4 dead, flipped the map. Once again now, Pioneers in the driver's seat, however. A and B in their favor. Just C for E United, and they're going to have to figure out a way to push on to B successfully. And unfortunately, it's being anchored by Frosty, and he seems to not let up as he finds the first kill on this party.
You can just see the power of that coverage on B side, how much damage you can do on all sections of the map. Druck going to try to earn it back here, too. You got Manny out front position. Druck now coming in with the heat wave, try to keep the damage in the situation. Thankfully, the nade does do it. Nice use of a high angle here, too. The entirety of Pioneer is going to fight out for B. It looks like they can all rotate back to take this snipe in the meantime here, too. So the coordination coming in clutch for Pioneers as they're starting to fumble. They don't have too much time to bounce back as well.
Yeah, there's going to be one last final constructed push, and if you go down, don't plan on respawning with any hope to try and come back in this game. But a good job by E United to get a few kills in their favor. 3 go down for Pioneers, so it looked to be a great pick for Pioneers. Immediately gets traded back in their favor. E United can't quite get to B, though, and it's on the back of Manny with this commander rifle to defend the last player alive, and Manny has done it. He's found the kills. He's denied the push on to B, and with that, the Pioneers take game 1. With a dominant setup there at the end, they were able to subside the pressure from E United, the control that E United had throughout that game, and to play scrappy enough and find their kills when they needed to get the job done.
Really scrappy at the end, though, right? Just continuously headbutting the B stronghold, right? Despite the open space, you got one player, spawning up, filling in the position of their down teammate, like over and over and over again until they just can't find a way to get back to B, and it just holds out long enough to make that situation work. I've seen so many teams just neglect B, try to get around to C instead because they know it's such a war zone and a bit of a 50-50, like a crapshoot, to just try to take that B stronghold at times. But Pioneers, just the relentlessness, the aggression, right? The confidence out of them, they weather the storm. They kind of break through the structure of E United to start. So what a way to kick off the series. E United, if anyone can bounce back, I think they will, Wes, and we'll have to see it in Slayer Recharge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think game 1, there was a turning point where kind of touched on it during the game where E United get all 4 dead. They have a trip cap momentarily. All of Kansas City Pioneers are spawning in house. They're able to transfer that stronghold over, but E United should have every bit of information they need on how they want to play this setup because they have tower, they have green, and unfortunately, somehow the Pioneers get space, get the picks they needed to transfer over C and then B as well. when you're E United and you're so fine-tuned, you have to be able to shut that kind of a push down and keep control in your favor. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. Up and into game 2, however, it's a battle for Camo early on, and Frosty makes his name known as he's able to find one. But unfortunately, E United send a little bit more resources towards that Camo, and because of it, they're going to be able to secure it.
We'll secure the Camo. Even trade on Slays, though, unless Sparty has something to say about it. He'll pick up 1 and 2. Catching Manny slipping in that situation. Manny thought he had an escape, but Sparty going to walk away with a couple. And Ryan with a kill on the Druck as well. So here's the confidence and the energy you expect to see out of E United as an answer. And Ryan, what an efficient play. He's already got a sword.
Are they going to expect him to have this sword? They're actually paying attention to that power weapon icon. This player running into tower. Actually, a beautiful bolt through there. That was amazing. Unfortunate Ryan didn't have that sword out immediately when he saw that player. That would have been a much easier kill for him. Because of it. Not only is that a kill in the favor of Pioneers, but sword gets transferred over, and now we know how powerful of a weapon sword can be, especially in a Slayer game type that doesn't force you to rotate around the map. You can play around corners all day long.
And you know Frosty's going to play around these corners skillfully, too, with this shock. We'll just see what he does to peek and take angles here. There goes Nick to start. To chase his way down for a second, make it a double.
We've seen this movie.
And we've the sequel about to pop up in just a second here, too. But Frosty, the smart play to know to back down in that situation. He knows he doesn't have high ground and didn't have teammates. Now that he does, he's going to get right back in it.
Soul Snipe versus Frosty over at Elevator. He's got a teammate with him, actually, and I'm not used to seeing Soul Snipe and Frosty on the same team, but it's a killing spree for Frosty as they find that pick on the Elevator, and Frosty looking for more as he pushes into bottom BR. Not often do you see a shock rifle to the teammate, but also to Sparty. Makes it a double, and Frosty not missing anyone on the map right now.
And just the pure confidence, too, to just jump out center. He knows there's less enemies on the map. He might have some freedom to make a wild play, but United will find him. That confidence will likely carry through to his team, and now Soul Snipe, he's the one to find a kill. Puts the last shot to good use, and now look at them. They get aggressive.
I like how you touch on Frosty's confidence and like how he's playing in today's series, right? Frosty just playing so free right now with this Pioneers team, and you can tell because it's maybe not as like demanding as the Sentinels roster as far as the pressure is concerned. He's very comfortable now that he's openly playing with no pressure. I mean, this is the Frosty of old that we know can just take over games.
It's the Frosty with, back-to-back triples, overs. Wild gameplay the dude had recently, by the way. The 102 kill game. Wes, I don't know if you saw that.
I saw the stats.
Oh, my God, dude. I mean, I know it's matchmaking, but, dude, holy crap, he finds ways to make big plays. And so does Sparty. And something I expect to see as United still look to bounce back here.
Back on screen with Frosty, makes it an 11. Still down 1 though. So United, even though Frosty's popping off, doing a great job to somehow have the lead here. Frosty with the shock rifle in hand, trying to change that storyline very quickly. We know he's capable of it. Spots this player, but this player being such a nuisance, a great position by him. Actually stays alive, whoever that may be. Just doing so much to play his life there. Keeps space and a little bit of control in the United's favor. Unfortunately, Frosty leaves that player, rotates across the map, and makes it an easy one over towards Glass. An overstep by him cost him his life, and Ryan doing a good job to trade that damage out.
Pioneers looking to fill in the space. In the meantime, though, with Frosty dying with that shock, I think the shock managed to trade hands to a member of Pioneers, but can enough of them stay up to contest this camo? Looks like it's Frosty once again to get the center map here. He'll skate out of the action, too, so camo likely will be applied, but I like the attention to detail. He's not just going to burn it right away. He has time to get the sword. And when the moment is perfect, he can apply both. This might be dirty if he makes it work here. We'll see.
Where does he decide to go is the big question. Yeah. Pink sneaky, so he thinks that there's a player over here. There's going to be a player top Glass. He takes down Druck. Druck able to trade that one out with a grenade. So Frosty actually not really near any of the members of E United just yet. There are a couple players pushing into pipes, and this could be just what Frosty wants to happen.
I like the lane change, though. You know they're going to see him, even if he's moving slow in this situation. In a little hallway like that, there's no way you can't spot him.
Look at this route.
Oh, and they can't hear him as
with
well.
With the grapple to close the distance.
So clean.
The first one's easy for Frosty. Can he close the distance on the second? Camo might be out, but Sword's still in play. Misses the first lunge, opts to try and back up, and now Frosty stuck in a very difficult situation to try and get out of. Does get out of it for now. Plays his life very well, but Camo only awarding the Pioneers 1 kill there. Try as he might. 6 kills still separate the two, as E United still with a 6-kill lead as Frosty, 14-1-6, needs to figure out a way to continue to impact this game.
I mean, as well as he's playing, unfortunately, his teammates struggling a little bit on their end to keep up their own slays. Frosty going to get locked down in that situation as well. And things looking a little more grim here for Pioneers as E United continue to find ways to pull away in this situation. Ryan will stay up, take a kill once again. Camo about to spawn. Rain with a clean sword kill. There goes Frosty. And if you're shutting down Frosty in the situation, the one man popping off on Pioneers here, I mean, how do you come back from this deficit? Just seems like a matter of time until United close it out.
Yeah, United looking so good here in game 2 to get right back in this series, tie this one up. 7 kills is all they need in order to do so, and make it 6 as another kill goes in their favor. A few more as well, and the control that United have been able to play around here in game 2, even without the camo, even without the sword.
Right.
For them to be able to find ways to efficiently find trades in their favor, to rotate away from Frosty while he was trying to continue to impact the game, it just speaks volume to their professionalism and their strategy.
Always in complementary positions, right? Always in a valuable perimeter to help out, to ensure at the very least they're in position to get a trade or stay alive and bait and switch. I mean, look at the damage coming in as they work together to secure the final kill of the game, thanks to a remote detonation for a 50-40 close and a confident answer at a United, one we had hoped to see to give us a series, West, now 1-1.
And that was really the first game that we've seen from Pioneers that maybe Frosty and the Pioneers, the rest of the team, was kind of on different pages.
Right.
Although Frosty was really popping off, he's losing teammates left and right. And you have to be playing with your team a little bit more there, right? Not to knock Frosty, not to knock the Pioneers, but you could just tell the difference in the play styles and the idea of how they wanted to play Recharge Slayer. Comes back to bite them, keeps the United back in the series to find those openings, to deny Frosty the opportunity to impact the game the way that he was typically able to so far throughout the games today. That speaks volumes to United, and a good job by them in a must-win game 2, I would say, to tie this back up 1-1 as we look at Aquarius for game 3.
Yeah, an interesting kind of juxtaposition with his role on Sentinels, right? Like, he's kind of free-flowing, you know, sort of almost doing what he wants in this moment here, which is benefiting him quite a bit, but not necessarily benefiting the whole team in this situation. Whereas with Sentinels, he's, you know, trying to fill a very specific role, something they've ironed out with all their practice, you know, kind of working together here. So little cracks, little gaps in the game plan here starting to expose themselves on the side of Pioneers, unless, of course, they find a way to adapt as well and counter in Aqua CTF. Though E United, they got some momentum, that's for sure.
Camo gets burned at the start, and that's a good job by the Pioneers to eliminate that player. Sparty with Heatwave eliminates one. Flag already on the move for United as respawners are going to be coming over on the pink side, and Sparty has every intention of making sure this flag goes in by cutting these respawners off, and they actually spawn across the map into the flag, and that's going to be a very fast flag cap to go on the board for United.
United started to put it all together, and you could see it in the gameplay here. Sparty will delete one. 2 dead. He does drop the heat wave, but I think there's a member of United in position to collect it immediately. We'll see. Rain in the meantime. Going to put the commando to good use here. Hopefully secures the kill. That's Frosty down for the count. Even tries to cross in that situation immediately, though he does get dropped. United, despite it, they still do have presence up center map. You can see Sparty now looking to chase.
Such a strong start so far for United here in game 3 to continue the momentum they built in game 2. They have no intention of losing to a sub. Even if it is Frosty here today, they want to collect this $500, put it to their name, but more importantly, make a statement. Already a statement made here early with a 1-0 lead.
That's for sure. And it's just the presence that they have on the map, too. Even if they don't have another flag just yet, they're always holding center. For once, I think Pioneers starting to regain a little bit. You can see Ryan playing defense, rightfully so. You got 2 flying into their locker. But it looks like Sparty deals with 3. Triple on the feed out of Sparty. Druck will at the very least knock him down, but the breathing room that E United have been given to rotate through Car here, and also access for Camo too. Can they win the fight for it? Pioneers, they're up off a spawn. They got pink side. It's going to be a bit of a brawl to get to it.
Ryan Noob with a bit of an overstep there. Doesn't predict the nade from Frosty, and because he loses his life, he loses dynamo grenades. A lot of the control that E United once had is immediately erased, and just like that, Camo in the hands of Frosty picks up the thrust as well, so he's going to have a major opportunity to push into this space. And if he can find a 1v1, you know he's going to win it with this Camo thrust in his back pocket. It's just a matter of, can they get the kills they need off the respawners to get this flag on the move?
Great attention to detail out of Frosty there, too. Why go for the shot when you can go for the guaranteed nade shot kill, and then picks up flag for a clean run here, too. So Pioneers, it was a bit of a battle of attrition, struggling under the opening pressure of E United, but man, did they find an opening of their own to bounce back. Can they drop the flag in, though? You can see E United in hot pursuit here. Manny with coverage, top map. Truck already tagging it out, so Pioneers efficiently working together here to secure their first flag, tie the game up.
Yeah, it was looking so good for United as that Camo was about to pop, but that nade killing Ryan Noob gave them numbers, gave them camo, and with that camo, Pioneers have tied this one up. Now as the battle for Dynamos continue here, you're seeing E United get the better of the first couple of picks, and what will that mean for closet control and the rest of the base of Pioneers?
Playing off each other so well, though, right? Sparty is a middle player in this position, like doubles back for the help with his teammate Utility. Now he's joined a different teammate for a two-player push here. You got Rain and Ryan with 2 kills. Sparty with a quick opening to curb slide that flag straight out to center map. No wasted time. You see how quickly he gets it all the way out to front base. So quickly, but that by the time they've spawned, they just don't have position to counter it. What's likely at this point is E United will lock it out. Pioneers going to look for a last-second cross to stop it, but it's just not enough. E United, the efficiency off of that opening will net them a flag. Can they counter, though? Soul Snipe still in their base.
Yeah, Soul Snipe's going to have an opportunity to get this one pretty far with that throw. Unfortunately, cost him his life, and a good trade.
Nice relay.
Gets this one relayed at least to halfway, but forced to stop as Druck, and Druck picks up a kill. Manny finds one as well, and now with numbers in the Pioneers' favor, they can slow this one down. But the return comes through.
Right, they had numbers in that situation. For whatever reason, they didn't come back to the fight in time to kill the player on the flag, so now they got to do extra work just to get back into the base.
What a play by Nick.
Right, massive play out of Nick to find a return despite the, the gauntlet he had to go through there. Manny, all well it happens, though. Manny not giving up, gets the back base, flagpole out to their same vantage point here. So maybe Pioneers will still find this flag, assuming they keep their numbers.
Unfortunately, Frosty and Druck go down. Manny forced to drop this one. Soul Snipe trades one out in his team's favor, but both of them get shut down, and that was 4 dead for Pioneers. And you're going to see a counter-cap opportunity here now for E United, I believe, is they should have some good control of the map, not only losing 1 member throughout that process. They have to slow it down, though. Closet control in their favor. You've seen how textbook E United like to be when they get this closet control. They like to slow play and get their slays. Unfortunately, Pioneers come off respawn and have a little bit of success early.
Pioneers doing everything they can to kind of claw their way through these individual fights. Come out with some trades here. Big kills out of Pioneers here, too. Now Frosty has the freedom to jump out center, pick up another. Does he know that final player's in Utility? Looks like he might be aware. Soul Snipe in with the pinch.
Soul Snipe done.
And a nice little cleanup. That will force the spawns over to Fridge. You can see they're already spawning. So Frosty now snapping the reticle over. Early pressure. And does this give them the chance to get to flag? They can't lose their numbers as they do it, though. You can see Druck in a fight back base. I think he wins it. Frosty toss the flag out center. Going to try to focus on his life in this situation, but it doesn't last long.
2 dead means this Pioneers flag run is not going to happen, as the return will come through, but the battle for camo ensues. Ryan with great dynamo grenade focus, and because he has those dynamo grenades, he just gets so much damage on these players top pink. Last player alive picks up that camo. It's going to be Frosty, and he's not able to activate it either. So Sparty, camo in hand, flag being run now by Ryan. So what a route by Ryan to get the dynamo grenades, throw him top pink, help his team secure camo, and in the meantime, he opts to go immediate for that flag. Unfortunate, he can't turn the corner into the closet with the flag, and that's going to be returned for Pioneers, but camo's still in the hands of Sparty, so Pioneers have to be worried that Sparty is going to impact this game here. Now with this game, finds the double, and that's exactly what you got to be worried about.
I mean, what's crazy about that little opening, though, is that was one dynamo grenade out of Rhinoob up on top mid, though, right? Like, he got, like, 2 kills with that, basically, also revealing the position of Manny, and then still had a second dynamo to get the base. Just, you know, wild, the damage that you can put out if you control this section of the map. And a good part of the reason why Nick is basically just living here, setting up camp, gonna wait at least for his team to start to get positioned to work off of them. Despite all the aggression we've seen out of E United, they still have yet to get the third flag, but there's the Dynamos coming in, right? So, like clockwork, just going to rip the shields off of Soul Snipe, and as he gets back into the fight, he's now at a deficit to try to win. Almost insurmountable odds. Thankfully, a trade.
It's up to Rain to try and stop this flag run. Unfortunately, Druck takes him down. Flag's still on the move, and Frosty, he tosses this into his window. He's going to comfortably punch this one in, so although the Dynamo Grenade's doing so much damage to that player in Closet, maybe they were trapped too far on the map, not enough angles to play around him. Pioneers read this one, play this situation perfectly. Frosty's still on a tear.
Super efficient out of Pioneers to completely, you know, nullify those Dynamos and get another flag in this situation. Now, Frosty's still going. Somehow lives in this situation. He'll get dropped shortly after. Druck with the space to get the camo. Can he get to the flag, though? You can see it is being returned, so United, they'll get away with that. But not only the tie Pioneers have secured in the situation, they've secured quite a bit of pressure and info, too. Out of top mid here, can Manny act off of it?
Manny finds one. What can Druck do with this camo? They're looking for him. They spot him. Sparty with the camo eyes, the perfect shots to match and eliminate that camo from the situation. That's a great job by him because it looked like Pioneers were going to have a great opportunity off Manny's first blood.
Frosty's still looking to capitalize here as well. Dude, it's wild sometimes, honestly. And you can see why United prioritized it so heavily because of its effectiveness.
I mean, people say Aquarius doesn't really have a power weapon on it. I mean, the heat wave is solid, but those grenades, the control of them, you can tell that E United want to focus that every second of the game.
Yeah.
They prioritize those nades, and that's the reason, is because they are so powerful when used correctly.
You can see them heavy stack car side almost all the time in their play, right? In file, like, you know, single file, they got a line through car, and conveniently they got the heat wave on this side of the map now too, so all the destructive tools of the trade here. Rain gonna try to put it to good use. He does get a trade. Flag sitting out in utility, not too far just yet, still within position for Frosty to get the return here.
Yeah, it'll be a comfortable return for Frosty. Heat wave in hand as well. A valid attempt from E United, but couldn't find the sways they needed to get that one any further, and now we'll see Frosty with Heat Wave in hand. What can he do? He's doing so much damage with this weapon already today. Needs to find an opening. He finds 2 from his team. That's going to be the entire base of United in the hands of Pioneers now. Nick does find a kill to trade one over, and unfortunately, Pioneers in a 4v2 situation. They lose 2 members, and Frosty forced to kind of play passive now.
Tried to get a cutoff on that player down pink 1. Now just, finds himself up. P2 somehow wins the fight with Rain. He's looking for a second. I don't know how the heck this man is alive in this situation, but if he does stay up, he might be able to get the camo. Looks like he will. You can see his coverage of the map here, too, as he's so aware of where these players are coming from. But will that be enough for him to stay alive in this situation? We'll see.
How does he opt to play this one? Trying to push through high hall. Does find the first pick. Doesn't need a melee. So Rain not able to trade a melee there is big because it allows Frosty to instantly try and push into this flag. Unfortunately, the nade does come through for Frosty. Knocks him weak, but so many members of Pioneers to try and deal with. And the swarm out of the base is successful. Frosty finds the triple kill. The flag needs to get on the move. All 4 members of E United still dead. Now spawning pink, and Frosty didn't spot that first player, but with control of the bridge, has to know where everyone on E United spawned, and that's going to be the lead going to Pioneers. 3-2 with 50 seconds left. E United have to figure out a way to tie this one up.
A clean triple out of Frosty, now followed up with a double by Manny. They have opened the map up. Frosty even gets a pull from that position as well, so just to add to the pressure, United are, well, we'll see in just a second. They got 30 seconds to make an impact here. Any trade that Pioneers gets is massive. It'll slow down the time United have to get to this flag, but you can see they're starting to get aggressive. Also, pink side here, too. Rain going to try to replace his teammate, but there goes 3 in quick succession. And I think that might be it for the game.
The commander rifle shots were perfect as he thrusted forward, and because of it, he eliminates any hope United have of getting into the base. The last player alive is Sparta. He's spotted out, taken down by great teamwork from Manny and Frosty.
Wow.
And Pioneers have done it with a flag cap in the last minute of the game with complete control to match. They've taken the lead in the series once again, 2-1 now over United off the back of a brilliant performance there at the end by the entire team. I mean, that push was surgical into the base to get all 4 players dead, to lose no one at the same time, and that just set up the opportunity to spawn trap those players, to trap them pink side of the base, and to eliminate any chance United would have had of coming back in that game.
What a little honeymoon for Frosty and Pioneers, though, by the way, right? Frosty jumps into this team. I know Pioneers, obviously, even with Talik on their own, they're a top contender and could still defeat United. But just to see the chemistry out of these boys, and Frosty, kind of being able to unleash some of his, full confidence and playmaking ability, especially in the end of that game. I mean, the triple kill to give Manny the opportunity for that flag run. There was nobody in position to stop it, to get to it. On top of that, he goes for the flag pull as well, trying to, continue to extend the pressure and limit things for them. Like you said, that might have been that might have, reversed things for them, made it easier for United. But instead, I mean, the defense out of Pioneers, they're so relentless, even when Frosty isn't there, even when they do have that coverage on the base.
Yeah, and although Frosty gets the triple kill in the base, it was really the entire team of Pioneers that was pushing into the base all at once. I mean, it was an overwhelming stampede in the base, and Frosty just happened to get the kills to his name, but it was really a Pioneer showing of a successful push there. They got the job done to take the lead there. Streets Oddball is going to be game 4, and backs against the wall now for United. A very structured, I would say, game type coming up in Oddball. You have the opportunity to get set up, find some success there. They did lose the Oddball to FaZe earlier today, so we'll see if they're able to rewrite the ship in their Oddball gameplay here and now, and they're going to need to if they want to make this series go the distance.
United red side in this series, right? So they're likely spawning C to start this game on Streets. I know they're very confident on this map, and they're very confident on PD side spawn. Like they've got that down packed. They tend to win it more often than not too. So I wonder if they have that opening to start. We'll see.
They should. And I think the setups are going to be what they're confident in the most. It's going to be a very telling situation. This will be the first time I believe we've seen Pioneers play Oddball. Well, I guess, yeah.
Apart from Live Fire, they played the Live Fire one with FaZe. Actually,
the Pioneers did.
Pioneers.
Yes,
again?
You're right.
Yeah, but that was the moment the FaZe bounced back in this series, right? That was when we saw the signs of weakness from Pioneers for the first time in this series. So what does that mean, especially when United get the starting strat that I tried to hint at coming into it, though I expected it to be confident. Looks like Pioneers still found a way to fight through despite it.
Soul Snipe, rockets in hand. Still 2 in the chamber, now only 1.
Wow.
Waste both those rockets, and a great job by United to get those rockets out of his hands without any members going down, unfortunately. Druck able to trade 1 out as the player goes down. Top driveway, another player with Bulldog shotgun. Now Ryan Noob with the shotgun in hand finds an easy double kill, and that's the opening United should look for to get an early lead extended.
Ryan Noob somehow securing all the important weapons in this situation here, too. You can see the ball now back A. It's a great coverage already at E United. Now Pioneers forced to make a play, forced to climb up the hill to get to it. Manny does get an opening kill, so to make things tougher for E United, Frosty ends up getting traded out. Ryan Noob just going to play his life in this situation if he can. And it looks like a spree for him before he dies, so a valiant attempt that leads to 30 seconds, just about, on the ball, but they don't get the chance to play it out to center, so Pioneers can very quickly turn this into a setup of their own.
Yeah, another interesting situation where it looked like United was going to have a great opportunity to set up. That setup gets broken immediately, and you have to think United should be a little bit more structured to be able to hold these setups. Unfortunately, just no success here as of yet, and Pioneers now having their setup broken. They lose multiple members. Druck only able to trade with those weapons. It's going to result in E United picking up this ball. And with Rockets coming up in 10 minutes, we'll have a battle for Rockets as well. So we'll see how both teams try to balance a setup, pressure from the ball being held, and Rockets spawning as well.
How the heck is this man alive? Just jumping in the corner there. Somehow manages to survive the nades incoming and clean up Manny. What a series of shots. Right back to where he started here, and rinse and repeat with the game plan, right? It worked out once. Looks like it'll work out twice. Even picks up some scrappy ball time in the process. So much efficiency in Ryan Noob's play here. Exactly where he needs to be to give his teammates opportunities. And you can see those opportunities in the feed. Sparty with 2 in the Rockets. Ryan Noob covering the equipment and the weaponry back here in A.
7-1-1. Ryan Noob continues to rack up ball time in his favor. They won the battle for Rockets. Those Rockets were put to use. A double kill from Spartan is awarded 50 unanswered points now for E United.
Just cleaning up shop. The coordination on this opening strat, so clear. They've got this down packed. And it's up to Pioneers to find an opening, find a crack in the defense, which is looking unlikely. You see the pressure out of Sparty. Druck does take a trade. Sparty going to drop a couple nades before he dies, make things tougher for Manny here as they still try to get up the hill. You can see 66 and counting. E United adjusting their setup out to alley here too. Just trying to find ways to be elusive, and 3 dead. Well, it happened, so Manny now left alone.
Manny trying to get a kill to maybe give his team an advantage to break this setup off respawn. Slow plays this, and he's kind of forced to. A great trade, honestly, out of Manny in a very disadvantageous position there in PD. As the ball was rotated all the way to Tram. We'll see if the Pioneers can get the kills they need. They do just that. 3 go down for E United. Make it a 4th later. And as Rain stuck in, Tram can't quite fight out of it. A great Sentinel beam from Frosty. Staggers the respawners of E United, and this could be a long setup for Pioneers. Fortunately, they are able to capitalize on that damage and take Frosty down.
Yeah, Frosty slowing him down, though, thankfully. Pioneers managed to get the ball all the way to back A and get some time with it. Druck to slide right into the fight here, and not fast enough, though. That's rough. Sparty, I think, thrusted backwards there, too, so making things very difficult. And what a useful application of it, too, just to get away with Rockets, especially with the delayed pickup time. He's still got 1 in the chamber, and he'll sink it cross map.
Oh my.
Go long, Druck. That's it for him. 2 dead, and E United about to scrape up the last 10 seconds here. Pioneers, they got to find a way to get there. It just looks unlikely when you got Sparty. Oh man, he's a nuisance.
A big kill from Sparty just delays the push long enough for E United to take round 1. And that setup for Rocks was beautiful, and it was what gave E United the power they needed to hold that ball there towards the end, to put a punctuation there on round 1. And it really was a dominant power weapon story from E United in round 1. We'll see if the Pioneers are able to change this one, but unfortunately they're gonna have to do it without Soul Snipe early on, because Nick has already got himself a kill early here in round 2.
E United looking like a completely different beast on this map game type, though, and I think it's just something that blends to their play style so much better than Aquarius CTF, where it's just, very consistent, kind of hammer them, trade off in fights and, win that access to flag for the run. Instead, this is, you need that perfect team chemistry and everyone knowing their role in this situation, knowing how to fill in the gaps, have led to a dominant opening at E United. Pioneers will finally find some time to breathe, but for how long, right? You got Rain already coming in with a shotty here.
Great shotgun control once again from E United. It's awarded Rain the first kill. Second comes through from Sparty. Good damage from Rain onto the third. Last 2 players alive for E United are stuck back Tram, and Sparty actually able to subside some of the push from the Pioneers, but for how long might be the question, because there's multiple members coming from downhill, and I believe that's actually going to be exactly where all of the Pioneers are going to be respawning as well. So I love this play by Sparty to relocate, come up the B stairs, and now that he's found 2, you're going to see E United with another opportunity to get a setup.
The timing is so clean. That's what's so beautiful, right, Sparty? I mean, on top of, just hitting the nice little jumps to get that vantage point, he's so ready to clean up that one shot, snap onto a second, and the next thing you know, Pioneers dropping like flies. Thankfully for them, they're going to get right back up off of spawn and apply some pressure of their own. Soul Snipe doing everything he can to stay up here. Manny with a big pickup as well might give them temporary access to ball. You can see Frosty with a quick little rotation to get it back into the safety of Subway. Manny, unfortunately, going to lose that fight, though. We got Rockets about to spawn here as well, so Soulsnipe doing what he can from a middle position to try to take on both fights from both sides. Looks like he's lost
Too many of them.
And what do? They're like zombies just kind of coming in together. Sparty to come in with rockets as well. Send that ball sailing, and now United looking to get back to control.
Good play ball, and nobody on EU United really able to grab that ball for a few seconds there. That's denied them access. And look at this. Now that the ball was put in such a great position, they're able to try and defend this one from getting up into the commando hall. And because of that, United not able to really transfer those kills into some efficient ball time, but finally they get it through. And just like that, it's bought enough time for Pioneers to have a successful push. They get the kills they need on the E United, and now they rotate the ball away.
Pioneers keeping E United at bay in this round. Very different than what we saw in the first round that started with a heavy setup. Like immediately over on A side, Pioneers have kept it scrappy, kept the ball in a baitable spot when they were dead. Done everything they could to avoid E United in a setup of their own. Rain will pick up a big kill on the Soulsnipe, so here comes the pressure. And can Pioneers avoid the setup potential this time, though? E United, you know if they win these slays, they're going to turn this around very quickly. There goes one in PD. Trade does come out, so you can see Pioneers coming in hot off their spawn, but E United, they've grabbed the ball.
Love the rotation from Pioneers. Unfortunately, their setup, it's broken immediately, and now E United with that same setup, we'll see what they're able to do with it. Druck trying to break this one. Frosty already made himself back tower, and Druck's going to slow play this one. As there is a player in PD, I think Frosty may have secured that kill, though, and in the meantime, E United brought that ball from all the way back tower, all the way into Tram, and now you're going to have to try and push into this one. It's going to be through the front door from Druck.
Oh,
Unfortunately, he's not even able to trade, and E United with the beautiful rotation now look to build a lead.
it took some time to get their footing. It was scrappy at the start, but E United slowly but surely, they've kind of regained their game plan here. Sparty, oh, I love that. He's going to launch the rockets sailing. And I think the position of that nade is actually going to send the rockets closer to E United over on Seaside. So some big brain potential out of what he just attempted there. They might already have the rockets because of it. We'll see. Rain trying to toss the ball out center here. Sparty off a spawn. We'll see if he can do some damage of his own to pick up off of Ryan Noob. It looks like he does, but Pioneers still finding the ball in this exchange.
Yeah, Pioneers do a good job to get that ball back into Tram. 3 members are going to be up there. One has rockets. A good job by Sparty to weigh that player down to no shield with those rockets, and now you're seeing one be wasted. Not being able to use those rockets successfully could be very difficult for Pioneers to hold this setup. A good trade comes through bottom middle, and United still down members. Pioneers seem to still continue to find success here.
Still being elusive. Ball out on Cafe. Rain, how does he play this? He's got his teammates outright. Druck does pick up a kill, though. You can see them starting to get aggressive. So Rain looking to look to fill in the gaps if he's got any to do. You can see all the numbers. The Pioneers holding steady. As I say it, though, a couple trade through. Rain going to find an answer, but scrappy time still being collected from Pioneers all while it happens. You got to watch out for this Sentinel. We saw it from Frosty earlier. Looks like it's coming in again.
Yeah, great job by Pioneers to kind of pick up some scrap time here and rotate this ball to where they built themselves this 10-point lead. Unfortunately, now Sparty with the ball in hand. He's going to do some rotations of himself. Gets it across to the pillars. Unfortunately, Manny read the play perfectly. Is there to stop him at the doorstep. And because of it, Pioneers may be able to accumulate a little bit more time.
Somehow, despite what we saw at a round 1, despite the coordination at United, Pioneers have continued to fend them off here in round 2 and made things so difficult for them. They do finally collect the ball, though, so here we go. Seaside setup. Sparty with the ball in hand. As they rotated it, though, they kind of gave up positioning for rockets. You can see Rain with a sight line on it, but that might not be enough to stop the inevitable here. Pioneers looking to collect rockets, get aggressive. There goes the shots, but his teammates are dying all around him. He can't find the trade, so Pioneers
big kills.
Win the battle of attrition, and they can get a setup and the artillery here.
Unfortunately, the nades don't allow United to stop that ball from moving. It does get stopped at trash, however. I think it gets left behind. They eventually get that in the Tram, but now comes the push from United, and we'll see how the Pioneers are able to defend this one.
Frosty still collecting time. Soulsnipe getting his shields back just enough to return fire, but still does die. Quick little pickup on the ball, but it's just not quite enough. So United, they'll quickly turn it around, and it won't take long for them to regain the lead off of this. Pioneers, they're now tasked with their opportunity to push up onto C. How do they do this, though? You can see both the points and the timer against them in the situation. 1 minute 10 to work with as soon as that ball drops out. But look at the rotation at United as well as they try to keep it away.
Soul Snipe trying to rotate behind this ball carrier. Is able to spot a couple of members of United from behind. Opts to actually grab that ball and try and turn the corner and maybe rack up some significant time here. 15 points is all they need. Just a minute on the clock, but that clock doesn't move when this ball is held onto. And now 9 points. Soul Snipe may have just made a heads-up 500 head play. Able to get this round with just a couple more seconds. The nades don't take him down. He is no shield, but they're not enough. And Soul Snipe grabbing that ball was so big. And the Pioneers now push this to a round 3.
Pioneers finding an answer in round 2. We didn't see at the start of this game. They adapted. They found ways to break those setups so early on. Can they do it this time? You can see a confident start out of Nick. Thankfully, he's ripped away from Pioneers before things get too crazy. Manny with a double of his own, going to turn for damage onto a third. That's Ryan Noob, though, with the shotty to delete him. All through the action, though, Pioneers going to walk away with the ball once again to start this round. Remember, Pioneers only need 1 round and 1 game in this series to close this out and win the whole tournament. They are looking at tournament point with this.
Yeah, you're going to start to feel the pressure on the side of E United, so you have to figure out a way to get off to an early lead here, I feel, in round 3.
Wow, what a shot.
You do not want that pressure to get worse and worse as this round could potentially go into Pioneers' favor. 17 points is all they've been able to accumulate as of yet. And Rain trying to shut this setup down. Finds that big kill, and little does he know, nobody really quite near this oddball. So he's able to write this one up and get right back into this. And a good job by United to stay in this round 3 before Pioneers blow this one up.
A little bit of time out of EU. You can see Rain now drop the ball, though. Knows he's lost some teammates, so he's looking for damage to at least return fire and help out in this situation. But too many nades will delete him. 3 members of Pioneers going to fly up into Subway here. Soul Snipe already sights onto one. Still have yet to pick up the ball, collect time. They want to secure Slays before they do it.
And no players are around here.
Yeah. Can they find their opening for it, though? You got some time till those rockets spawn up as well. Frosty just playing it slow. He's lost Soul Snipe, but he's got some info here.
Player back Ivy. Can Frosty get this kill? That's a big one on the Nick. It's going to leave this ball carrier in a very difficult position, but he actually took it towards tower, so now it's going to be Pioneers that have to try and push this one out with rockets coming off respawn shortly. Frosty opts to push past them. Did a few kills, and now they're going to have to go back towards the middle of the map to compete for these rockets. With numbers in Pioneers' favor, you want to see them try and push these rockets aggressively before United can compete for them off respawn.
Nice, look at this, Frosty. Oh, he doesn't quite get out the box. He just dropped everything on that box as well. Shoddy, Thrust, Stalker, Druck about to die and add to the graveyard in just a second, but I love the use of the rockets. Sends him out, does get a kill as well. In worst case scenario, nobody's going to get to those rockets, or I guess best case. But do E United still get time despite the play at a Druck? Looks like they still find ways to collect the ball, and Sparty still getting help for this kill here.
Collected ball, collected a few kills to make this setup a little bit easier to hold for a little bit. Pioneers spread out. Couple players in tram, couple players pushing downhill, and now you're seeing players try and rotate towards the middle of the map. Love the aggressive play by Druck. Soul Snipe and Manny find one. So this setup, all for naught from E United. And although they try to rotate it, Frosty in a perfect position to shut this one down. It's a double kill for Frosty. Stalker rifle finding a ton of damage in that situation. They grab that ball, bring it right back, and now Pioneers are going to have an opportunity to set up as well.
Ooh, Frosty can get out, though. Oh, he does get a kill. At the very least, he'll slow the numbers of E United as they tried to collect some scrappy time in this situation. Soul Snipe in a perimeter to help out here, too. And he denied the push coming out from driveway, though. You can see he's just waiting for it. Gonna get right up close and personal, but Nick, the confidence to stare him down and still melt the man despite him flying up out front. Frosty continuously finding these weapons off his spawn, by the way. A bit of a relationship he's had with them over, constantly getting trades. And then the moment he spawns, he's likely to come right back, pick him up once again, try again. A little rinse and repeat. All while it happens, though, United still finding ways to rotate the ball out here. But will they
Big
managed to
kill,
get
Soul
out
Snipe,
here.
big
Yeah,
nade.
Pioneers finding 2. Ball rolls down the hill, though. Still transferred to E United, but they're dying in the process.
Yeah, one player alive back Tram. Rockets in the hands now of Manny, and Pioneers going to have that ball comfortably in Tram with respawners coming over towards the cafe spawn from E United. So
Oh, my.
this could be a nice setup. Unfortunately, Manny doesn't get that first kill. Forced to trade one out, and it's just going to make this setup so much weaker for Pioneers now that they found an opening. They're able to create a little bit of space, and now E United look to try and break this setup, and they do just that before the lead gets out of hand, and just 10 points now separate the two.
You got to love how close this has become, though, right? Both teams trading blows. No real long-standing setups on either side. They're so quick, so efficient at breaking each other's openings. Frosty looking to do just that once again before E United start to run away with this. You can see they already got 70 counts in here. Frosty changing lanes very quickly. Doesn't get the kill. Teammate in position to do it, though. And finding all the slays without dropping their numbers. Massive out of Pioneers. One huge turn there at E United to delete Frosty, but they still at least have an advantage for some time here.
A great job once again by Pioneers to break the setup of E United. Neither team, to your point, able to really hold a strong, efficient setup as of yet, and that's made this game so close. It's because these opening picks continue to benefit the team that's not set up. But this story has changed, Shyway. 3 dead for E United, and Pioneers 87 points and climbing. E United may not be able to get there in time.
This could be really good out of Manny, or he could be out of the action. It looks like, oh, you know what? Perfect. He at least finds the 1 kill. And now that he has the opening, he's going to fly into center and try to delete what's left of E United. The Sentinel slipping a little bit, but Druck is here to pick up the slack.
No.
And that's the play you'd like to see from your teammate when yours does not go so well. He'll take a double of his own, and is that enough to close the game? Druck still going. Thrust out. Doesn't get the kill. Massive damage into that player. Frosty can pick up off of it. Soul Snipe at 98 points. Will toss the ball out in a desperate attempt. They'll pick it up. But E United still getting kills.
4 dead.
Oh my God.
4 dead for Pioneers. E United are broken the setup. 77 points and climbing. They need 20 points. They have to hold this setup. Can they get the kills they need? Will they expect the shotgun push? Because that's exactly where the Pioneers are coming from.
Pioneers, they have a little bit of time. That time taken very quick. Actually, they don't have much. They got 10 seconds here. Frosty, big assist. Frosty looking for a second. Dives in with the melee. He'll take it. They're still up. They got numbers. Can they do it in the last couple seconds? Oh, they got to get to the ball.
He's no
Nick
shield.
with it at 99. Well, he did it. Somehow, he got that final second despite dying. At the same time, and by the skin of their freaking teeth, E United bounced out of that game with a W. And we have a game 5 in this series. I can't believe what I just witnessed, Wes. That was
milliseconds.
that was literally milliseconds. That was
Nick does just enough, but it was almost a mess. You have to talk about the massive blunder from Pioneers to not be able to get those last 2 seconds. They had everything in their advantage. One player gets back tramp and kills the ball carrier, denies it. The ball gets stuck in commando hall. Although Druck gets the double kill, nobody can get in position to pick up those last 5 seconds, and it keeps the opportunity that E United needed to stay in that one, to buy enough time, to come off respawn, to impact the game further. And they clutch up. The ball doesn't get played to the middle of the map, and because it doesn't get played to the middle of the map, E United get to get the slays in that commando hall later on, to where they now get to hold that setup in the back of Tram towards the end there. And I mean, if you're Pioneers, you're kicking yourself, but you can't do that for long, because you got to look yourself in the eyes and say, we got a game 5 ahead of us. It's going to be Bizarre Slayer. First to 50 to decide the winner of this $500 today. And this grand finals couldn't have been any better, shall we?
Yeah, you couldn't have had a closer finish to game 4. That is insane. The fact that it goes down to the final second. Nick was the last one alive, and they had a huge numbers advantage, and just squeaking around that corner was enough to, down to milliseconds, close that game. And because of it, here we are in game 5, the final game of the day. And Sparty, what the heck nade did you just throw to pick up 2 kills to start, likely through the double doors? E United, they're coming out hot off of that narrow victory.
It looked very strong earlier today in the Bizarre Slayer. Let's see if it repeats. Rockets get thrown straight to Sparty. Already 2 kills to his name, and we'll see what he's able to do here with these Rockets now. Nobody's quite bottom shotgun for Pioneer, so he's going to clear this one out. United with all the map control and the lead early have everything to play around.
Yeah, fortunate opening nade out of Sparty. I mean, gave him the, framework to set things up here. And you can see Sparty with the Rockets now because of it. 5-1, and Pioneers already playing defensive. They don't want to bleed their numbers in this situation, but Sparty not making it easy for him.
Oh, good job to put those Rockets to use quickly. Find a battle rifle. Tries to play his life. Unfortunately, does get caught off, and because of that, the kill transferred over into the hands of Frosty. Just 2 for Pioneers, 2 for Frosty as of right now, and Pioneers need to figure out a way to get some map control quickly before this game gets out of hand.
Oh my God, what a turn and burn on the Soul Snipe, by the way. I think he might be bagging his body a little bit there. Soul Snipe trying to chase him down with AR and does not get the kill he wanted. Pioneers, unfortunate for them, a 7-kill deficit to start. You can see Sparty looking at the nades just in case of a flank. Got positioning on bottom mid as well. And look at the team cross as they play off of each other. Ryan, getting aggressive here. Big trade out of Pioneers to slow their roll and then thrust into the fight to try to help. You can see Rain doing all the damage. My God, what a play.
Beautiful.
Comes out with a double, and he's still alive. 14-5 now.
Fortunate reticle placement for Rain. To your point, rewards him with that double kill and just makes it look so easy as he clears the way for this next overshield to go into the hands of E United.
Oh, no.
And now that they have complete map control, the second overshield goes in their favor as well with a 10-kill lead. What can E United do? Now with this control, they're so surgical when they get this control. We've seen it so often from this team. How can the Pioneers get out of this one? It doesn't look like Druck's going to have an answer early.
No, this has got to be so brutal if you're on the side of Pioneers, literally 2 seconds away from victory and Oddball having the lead ripped away from you. And all of a sudden you face a massive deficit in a game 5, E United snapping back into action. And how do you come back from this, dude? Rain with another double, grappling like he can't lose at this point. He's looking for more victims.
Grappling like you can't lose is exactly what we saw from Rain. Just kind of recklessly using the equipment at that point, just trying to apply pressure wherever you can. If there's ever a time to pick it up right now, it's in these next 5 seconds. Rockets are coming up, and Pioneers with the first opportunity at the middle of the map to be controlled in their favor could potentially get these Rockets, maybe find an opening. But unfortunately, Soul Snipe's going to have to wait to get his shield back, and Pioneers still have this map control in their favor, so Soul Snipe should be able to get these Rockets, but actually opts to not try and go for him. And
I like this, though. Soul Snipe doing it all. How is he alive?
Stays alive. This is big.
Back-to-back survival moments out of Soul Snipe have given him the Rockets and kills and distractions as well. He's gone huge here, and so all of a sudden lead is starting to close a little bit. I know you're not happy about that rocket, but he's still got one more.
Got a player behind him as well, and unfortunately, he actually gets shot in the back, taking down that rocket now in the hands of Ryan Noob. E United clean wipe all of the Pioneers off their side of the map, and somehow what looked like Pioneers potentially swinging the momentum of this game 5 immediately now back in the hands of Ryan Noob with this set of rockets and E United with this map control.
I mean, last time we saw Ryan Noob on this map, what was he, 17-6, right? E United, they got this map locked down. They had it locked down in their previous series with ESA Blue, and you can see they're doing it once again against Pioneers. Pioneers struggling to find answers. Soul Snipe with a back smack on him. And that's 2 dead once again, 31-17. At this point, you wonder if they can bounce back.
3 for 3 on overshields too. Complete domination when it comes to power up, power weapon control. Just a brief lapse in that story with the rockets going into the hands briefly for Soul Snipe, but that was removed. And that's why the score's gotten out of hand shy way, and now up to 14, 33-19.
Ryan Noob Nerds. He did this last time, Wes. He just hung out on rockets, right? And he lived the whole game and just annoyed the enemy team. He'll find picks on weak targets. He'll stay alive and draw your attention. And Sparty comes in, cleans up shop out bottom mid. E United breaking the hearts of Pioneers here. Pioneers were poised to take that 4th game, and there goes their tournament victory at this rate.
Yeah. 13 kills for United to win this series. Take home the $500. Pioneers needing to figure out a way to trade in an unbelievable efficient manner in order to come back in this one. And unfortunately, Ryan Noob with the Bulldog, you already know. He's down there. He's controlled that weapon all day long, continuing to put it to work. And 3 dead once again for Pioneers. E United was still middle of the map control. And on Bizarre Slayer, we've seen how effective you can be when your team's able to control the middle of the map so efficiently.
When it comes down to it in this situation, right, just that battle of teamwork, team chemistry, it's so clear that everyone has defined roles on the side of E United in this final game, and it's all coming together. And as amazing as Frosty has played on Pioneers, there's just that little bit of mishap, you know, in chemistry potentially that can all impact the game. Although this one was just a snowball right out from opening strat, right? E United, they found their footing early on and just have not let go of their grasp.
It was 4-dead for E United. Now or never for Pioneers fans. 44-30. Maybe with a little bit of luck, you clean wipe him out of this base, make it a 10-kill game. Watch, rinse, repeat on the other side of the map. We'll see if they're able to do it. That's the only way that they come back in this one. Dynamo grenades coming through. A little bit of damage, a little bit of information, but King Nick denies the door entry to the bar. Unfortunately, he gets taken down. Sparty finds a way to somehow take down Druck in the meantime. And this rocket not being put to use makes this kill a little bit more difficult for Manny, but a 3-for-1 trade. The Pioneers come out on top, but I mean, shy away. 3-for-1 is not going to cut it.
Yeah, it needs to literally be full 4-dead with no answer whatsoever from E United. You know that they don't play like that.
Jesus Christ.
They are going to force trades. There's no hope. And there's no hope in this situation, Sparty. He'll find another. What a triple out of Sparty. You're going to put him out like that? My God.
17-7 and 11. Sparty puts a punctuation on the series on the day. E United are your Esports Arena Series E champions for this week. Taking home that $500 on the back of one hell of a performance in Game 5. But overall today, they looked like the best team in this tournament. And rightfully so, they are going to claim themselves the champions.
Definitely true. In the end, the best team, the best teamwork, coordination, the chemistry. I mean, it all came together in Bizarre. It was a shutout in the end of that. But what a wild series of events that led to that moment, right? What a roller coaster and a treat of a series that we got to witness and cast, Wes. Not too often do we get to have, you know, both E United and FaZe jump into our exhibition matches. And I hope that that's just the beginning of a larger story, right? Kansas City is right around the corner. We've got so many top caliber teams. These events are weekly. Every Monday, every Wednesday. Monday, open tournament. Anybody can, you know, sign up, join in. Wednesday, exhibition match where, you know, Optic, I mean, come by. Cloud9, come by, right? This is where you can make $500, but you also get the last second reps at a very high caliber with a little bit of online pressure, a little bit of, you know, stakes on the line.
Yeah, you're talking about it from like the team's environment or the team's perspective. Talk about it from like Twitch and Halo's perspective, right? Like, what a show.
Good content. It's good content.
World class Halo being played today.
Oh yeah.
By some of the best teams in the world. It's unbelievable performances from everybody. Frosty, you got the sub with KCP. Even if your full team can't play, if you're Optic, maybe you get to play with a Snakebite next week or something, right? Wouldn't that be something fun to watch?
Will be.
Loved every opportunity here today to watch some of the best go at it. And as we continue to approach the Kansas City Shyway, I mean, these teams continuing to get reps in, continuing to put in work, continuing to adapt and evolve the meta of Halo Infinite to this point. You can see it start to shift. You can see the domination start to shift as these teams continue to improve. And it's just a blessing to be a part of the viewership in that
I completely
perspective.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, you know, Halo in some ways, you know, we're left wanting answers, wanting content in some areas, but I think when it comes to esports, there's so much depth. There's so much excitement still here with what we have, and these pro players are showcasing that with Esports Arena. So hopefully we can see more in the near future. It was a pleasure casting with you today, Wes, and thank you everybody who, always a pleasure, my dude. Thank you everybody who tuned in, and hopefully we see you next Monday. In the meantime, we'll send it back to Yeso to close the show.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clutch, Shyway, always a pleasure to listen to you both. Great cast on the day and a hell of a series there to close it out between E United and Pioneers. And, you know, despite, I would say, a little bit of an anticlimactic ending considering how big E United crushed that final game. That was a hell of a best of 5 between two really good teams. You know, an absolute nail-biter there in Game 4 on oddball, right? E United almost going down, back and forth in that final round. That one was so close. It almost went either way. And, you know, no better way to have these two teams battle it out than have it to be, you know, as close as that series was. So, you know, hats off to both squads, but of course, congratulations to E United. They win tonight. They are the champions. They take the $500 home themselves, and we look forward to seeing them come out and compete again very soon. That's going to do it for us here tonight. Do want to remind you folks again, we will be back tomorrow for Series Z Guilty Gear Strive. Again, we're getting close to the end of the season, so it's going to be a very fun tournament tomorrow, so make sure you are here for that. We kick things off at 4 p.m. Pacific time right here at twitch.tv/esports arena. And do want to let you know, due to just some issues here, there will be no series recap this week. We're going to take Friday off.